The Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network is proud to present non-conference baseball from James C. Fox Field on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. The Pfieffer Falcons in town to take on the number 2 ranked team in the country, the Lynchburg Hornets. Hello again, baseball lovers. My name is Kyle Haney, joined by Ethan Morotsky. Ski, we're coming off the top rope again on a Tuesday afternoon for some non-conference baseball. Pfieffer comes in at 8-16. The Lynchburg Hornets are 20-4 on the season.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun matchup. It's a beautiful day in the Hill City at Fox Field, and Lynchburg repping their white jerseys and the new white hats. And Pfieffer, I'm liking their jerseys too, with the black with the white and gray stripes, or the yellow and gray stripes. It's going to be a fun matchup. This is really a big game for Pfieffer. This is a game where towards the second half of the season, it's really a confidence that you can instill in yourselves. And for Lynchburg, this is just one of those games where you have to go into a non-conference midweek, putting your authority down and knowing that this is your home field and nobody's going to take it.
Lynchburg is undefeated at Fox Field this season at 10-0. This will be game number 25 of 39 for the Lynchburg Hornets. For Pfieffer, also game number 25 for the Falcons as well. Pre-game introductions are underway at Fox Field, so we'll step aside for the national anthem, then bring it back with the lineups and the first pitch. It's the Falcons and Hornets. You'll see it live on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Number 6.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome back, baseball lovers. We are all set for action between Pfieffer and Lynchburg. I'm Kyle. He's Ethan. We've got a full press box. We'll meet and greet some of those folks, and we're glad you're tuning in today, this Tuesday, April Fools. Should we fool around a little bit, Ethan?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's just a beautiful day. Spring's definitely here. It's been high temperatures the last couple days, and I'm super excited to get down with this game.
Yeah, very nice day outside today. We're in the the upper 70s, and we think we're going to stay that way with sunshine and a light breeze all day. Here comes the defense for the Lynchburg Hornets, 20-4. They're going to start first-year man from Gainesville, Virginia, Lucas Marrero. More on this freshman lefty in just a moment. The battery mate will be Connor Moore doing the catching today. On the right side of the diamond, you've got Joe Gordon at first base for the Hornets, Ben Jones playing second, Brandon Garcia at short. The third baseman is Maddox Tsutsui, and then in the outfield, it's Webster, Munitz, and Cato. That outfield's been pretty much set for Lynchburg since Quinn Madden went out, Ethan, but we've seen quite a bit of shuffling in the infield, at least at the corner infield spots anyway. Second base and shortstop have been pretty much rock solid with Ben Jones and Brandon Garcia. But other than that, it's basically a different corner setup for Lynchburg every single game.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think this outfield has become set in stone. I think they're doing a great job. Joe Munitz obviously came into this program as an infielder, DH'd a lot last year throughout the lineup and towards that second half of the season, but he's found his way onto the defensive side, and he's been doing a pretty good job out there in center, holding down the fort of the outfield. And in Parker Cato, just every single game, he's going to get more and more tuned to this outfield and how this Lynchburg defense plays. And then, of course, with Maddox Tsutsui at third base, he kind of just stepping up for that Gavin Collins injury that we're not too sure how long he'll be out for. So it's going to be a ton of fun.
No timetable to return yet for Gavin Collins, but we'll certainly keep our eyes on that. Starter today for Lynchburg is Lucas Marrero. This will be first collegiate appearance for Marrero. He is a lefty with a firm fastball. Slider has good action, and it sounds like the breaking ball, or excuse me, the changeup rather, is going to play very nicely, especially against right-handers for Marrero. First batter will be a righty. It's Hunter Honeycutt, the right fielder, leads off for the Falcons, who are 8-16, coached by Craig Bolton in his fourth season. Rest of the lineup for Pfieffer, we might have our graphic, but I'll just tell you, after Honeycutt, it'll be Joe Javier, Wilson Lohr, Levi Barrett, Baden Gusa, Connor Welker, CJ Acosta, Carter Merrill, and Austin Wood. The shortstop will round out the order. Bottom rail fastball there for Lucas Marrero gets things started. It's an 0-1 count. We're underway on Lakeside Drive here in Lynchburg. Hornets are back in action tomorrow. They hit the road to Virginia Beach to take on the Virginia Wesleyan Marlins. So we can discuss that a little bit. This one's sprayed to the right side. It will not stay between the lines, and it's an 0-2 count. Already seeing some good indications here from Lucas Marrero, Ethan. That fastball does look like it has some life out of his hand.
Yeah, you love to see it if you're a coaching staff and pitching staff. He's going right at the hitters, and like you said, it's got some life and some run. And starting off with an 0-2 count, it's a beautiful way to start off your first ever inning for Lynchburg.
Honeycutt is a sophomore, comes into the game hitting .342 on this season. In an 0-2 hole as Moore slides out, there's a fastball upstairs, pops out of the mitt, and it's a 1-2 setup. Honeycutt, .342 on the year. Joe Javier coming up next, .390 on the season. And then Wilson Lohr is swinging it at .392. So this is a Pfeiffer ball club that actually has the same team batting average as Lynchburg. They've got some individuals really raking so far this season. Breaking ball from Marrero missed. Tried to get that on the back foot to Honeycutt. Looked like the location was pretty good. Honeycutt just laid off.
Yeah, that's a really good look from Honeycutt. That's a really tough pitch to be able to lay off a low and inside slider. It looks so good out of the hand and just dips right on the inside corner of that zone.
Yeah, you just haven't seen it yet either as the leadoff man. Here comes the 2-2. Marrero went high again. It's a swing and miss from Honeycutt. There's punch out number 1 of the career for Lucas Marrero. The first-year man from Gainesville has the initial out of the top of the first inning. Here comes Joe Javier, junior from Kannapolis. .390 on the season. He's a .365 hitter in his career. Bunch of guys on this Pfeiffer roster, Ethan. We know they can score some runs. This is the second game between these two ball clubs. Lynchburg won the first time 3 weeks ago. I believe that was you and Evan Gates on the call for that one. A 19-9 ball game. One of the higher scoring games for Lynchburg this season, but a very convincing Lynchburg victory.
Yeah, this Pfeiffer lineup, every single year that we played them when I was playing for the Hornets, they always kept it close and they were always confident at the plate, and that's honestly the most important thing going up against a team as good as Lynchburg today is you just got to keep your confidence, and I think that's what the pitcher Lucas Marrero on the mound is doing so well through these first two batters is every single pitch looks confident as he's going towards the plate.
Totally agree. It's 2-0 count to Joe Javier. This is inside corner and a called strike. Good presentation from the catcher, Connor Moore. We'll have some time to discuss what both these teams were up to this weekend. For Lynchburg, it was a split on the road against the Roanoke Maroons. Lynchburg did blow a lead in Game 1, but came back to win Game 2 in convincing fashion as that fastball misses inside, and now the count is 3 balls, 1 strike to Joe Javier with Wilson Lohr on deck. Pfieffer took 2 of 3 over the weekend against Southern Virginia in a USA South matchup. Called strike 2, and now the count is full with 1 out in the top of the first.
I think after what happened this weekend, obviously there's some frustration on the side of Lynchburg. They're going to feel like they should sweep every single matchup no matter what team it is. But I think they're going to come into this one with a little bit more of aggressiveness and do well against this Pfieffer team.
Payoff pitch from Marrero. This ball sprayed into center field. Joe Munitz has got a bead on it, but he will not get there. In fact, 3 hops before the sophomore center fielder gobbles it up and throws it in. It's a base knock for Joe Javier. First of the game for Pfieffer. And they've got a runner on board for the 3-hole hitter, Wilson Lohr. 392 this season, Ski, and he hit 394 last year. So there's a reason why this senior is hitting third. A big guy, too. I mean, just kind of an imposing presence when he steps in the batter's box there.
Yeah, the consistency has been there the last 2 years, and that's one of the most important things in a lineup is hitters that can consistently do well at the plate.
Moore slides out. Great location from Marrero, and it's a called strike 1. We'll run over the Lynchburg batting order, but they did put up a bunch of runs in Game 2. Beat Roanoke 11-1 over the weekend. Lost the first game 8-7. That was after having a 7-1 lead. Great off-speed pitch there from Marrero that Lohr can't connect with. For Lynchburg on the weekend, 21 hits. 318 was the batting average against Roanoke. 8 extra base hits in there, Ethan, including 3 home runs. Wind was blowing out in Pulaski at Calfee Park, but still, I think good signs for the Lynchburg offense. They're starting to come around as Lohr gets a piece of that 0-2 pitch to stay alive.
Yeah, as it gets later and later on in the season, this lineup is getting more tuned to how the fashion that Bees wants in your lineup, and I think they've been doing a great job as of late, getting a little better in the hit column. You go back to the beginning of the season where it was really all pitching from Callrider and Matfield and Tapman, or a little bit of hitting, but they've been taking advantage of hitters' counts and free 90s that they've been getting.
Great call. I mean, the offense really came alive in the month of March, and now we're in April here, on April 1st. So hopefully for Lynchburg, the bats continue to get warm. You are without 2 of your key power guys, Quinn Madden, Gavin Collins. Gavin Collins mentioned no timetable to return, but the hope is that he will be back at some time. Runner takes off. Lohr slashes this one. It'll be foul over the Lynchburg batting cage. And that was Joe Javier off to the races there. It's a Pfieffer ball club that has as many stolen bases as Lynchburg. Both teams have stolen 62 bags this year, Ethan. Pfieffer at a much higher percentage, though, 94% success rate for the Falcons. So that will be something for us to watch for today, is how Lynchburg slows down the Pfieffer running game. Another 1-2 pitch coming up. Marrero fires this one down in the dirt. Good stop from Connor Moore. He glares in the direction of the runner there just to make sure that Joe Javier wasn't on the move or anything. Now our count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Marrero, lefty freshman, set. Looks at the runner a couple times, now deals. This ball's pulled into left field. Parker Cato on the run and makes the catch. Might have a chance at a double play. No, Joe Javier was back in the nick of time. Good grab from Cato, and there's 2 down in the top of the first.
Obviously, that's going to be a tough read every single time in right field. Cato did a good job managing to be able to make the catch, and I really like the aggressiveness trying to get the runner out at first. We saw he did go about halfway to second base, but a good job being able to get back there too.
First-year man from Blacksburg, South Carolina, not Blacksburg, Virginia, but South Carolina, Levi Barrett steps in. 292 average to begin the season. Marrero will throw to first base to keep Joe Javier close. For Lynchburg, it'll be Garcia, Munitz, Jones, Gordon. Ryder Warren is the DH. And then Webster, Moore, Cato, and Sutsui is how the Lynchburg side will attack offensively. Another toss from Marrero. And for Lynchburg, we had seen Davis Watson take some of these midweek non-conference starts, but now Lucas Marrero is ready, and he looks pretty good early. Big hack there from Levi Barrett as he fouls it straight back for an 0-1 count. Barrero started 3 of the first 4 with first pitch strikes. Barrett, that was an aggressive swing, wasn't it, Ski?
Yeah, I love it. I love you're going up against a freshman pitcher where this is his first ever career inning, so you got to take advantage of those opportunities.
0-2 now as Barrett took another hack, came up empty. Lynchburg will keep an eye on how they manage their bullpen. Obviously, with a conference game tomorrow, you want to make sure everything is in order for your relief pitching. And it will be interesting to see how both teams play it because, again, one of our common themes is it a true bullpen day where you use 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pitchers, or do you hope to get some longer innings out of one or more of your guys? Both teams used 4 pitchers in the first game. Here's a one-hop to Brandon Garcia. He'll sidearm it to second base for the final out of the top of the first. 1 hit, 1 left on for the Falcons, middle 1. It's 0-0 between Lynchburg and Pfieffer.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
It's not.
How you feeling?
Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Bottom of the first has arrived. Still no score. Lynchburg steps up to swing it for the first time. It'll be Brandon Garcia, the shortstop, leading off. Joe Bunitz hits second. Second baseman Ben Jones batting third. Joe Gordon will be the cleanup man today, playing first base. First-year Ryder Warren DHing, hitting fifth. Number 6, Logan Webster, is hitting sixth. Connor Moore, the catcher, batting seventh. Parker Cato playing right field, hitting eighth. And Maddox Tsutsui, sophomore third baseman, rounds out the order for Lynchburg. They are the second-ranked team in the country, 20-4 this year for the Hornets. They've only won 1 in a row after splitting with Roanoke over the weekend, but Lynchburg's won 5 of 6. They've won 10 of their last 12. The pitcher for Pfieffer is J.D. Bassinger. He's a junior from Woodleaf, North Carolina. This will be start number 4 for Bassinger. He's got an 0-3 record and a 7.53 earned run average. 2 balls, no strikes to Brandon Garcia. Hollywood's heating up, a 9-game hit streak coming into the ball game. Ethan?
Yeah, I really like this lineup that Bees is going through. Obviously, you don't have one of your best hitters, Gavin Collins, today, so you move Logan Webster up into that 6th spot or that 7th spot so you can get him to get a little feel into that middle of the order, and you have Maddox Tsutsui try and take over that second leadoff in the 9-hole.
3-0 count to Brandon Garcia. This one's upstairs, and it's a 4-pitch walk. Pretty easy there for Hollywood. An on-base streak will continue, but Garcia will have to hold on to his hits streak. Interesting streak also working for Brandon Garcia. He's taken walks now in 6 straight ball games. The on-base percentage is over .450 in the last 5 games for Brandon Garcia. Here's Joe Munitz. He's reached in 23 straight games. Only game Joe Muniz did not get on the bags at least once was the opening contest down at North Carolina Wesleyan to start the year for Lynchburg. Bassinger hasn't found the strike zone yet, but he will hit it there with the first pitch to Muniz.
I think this 1-2-3 for this Lynchburg lineup does so well. You talk about the on-base streak and the hit streak that Brandon Garcia has, and it's the same thing with Joe Muniz in the 2 spot, and that's what makes him so good at the leadoff in the number 2 and number 3, is that Brandon Garcia, as he takes off for second, and that throw is going to be in time. So for out number 1, and I was talking about how this lineup does so well getting on base for your 3 and 4 hitters.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad pitch to run on. It was something low in the zone, and the catcher Carter Merrill, who's a grad student from Dallas, North Carolina, deserves a lot of credit for receiving that and unloading pretty quickly. It's a 1-1 count to Joe Muniz. With nobody on board now, Brandon Garcia erased on the caught stealing. Check swing from Muniz. Looks like he did hold up, and now our count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Garcia this year, stolen base-wise, has obviously had quite a bit of success. We know about his speed. Brandon Garcia now 14 for 18 in the stolen base department. So he's been caught stealing 4 times. It's a 3-1 count to number 9, Joe Muniz. Sophomore outfielder from Virginia Beach comes in with a .333 season average. J.D. Bassinger from the set fires. That's a ball. Back-to-back walks. Lynchburg only has 1 base runner because of the caught stealing. But so far, so good for the Hornets offense. That does really work the walks. 5.5 per game now. 132 in the season. So you get 5.5 extra base runners per game. And if you throw the hit by pitch in there, it's about 7 extra runners per game for Lynchburg. And that's such a big advantage. Really forces a pitcher to come in the zone. And when you come in the zone, guys like Ben Jones can do damage.
Well, that's what makes this lineup so good is, yeah, their hit numbers aren't the greatest that they've been in the past, but they're doing a good job getting on base, and that's where you string hits together, is when you have runners on first and second because of walks, or you get a runner on second because of walk and a steal there like what Brandon Garcia was trying to do.
1-0 count to Ben Jones. Now it's 2-0. Yeah, so far for J.D. Bassinger, I mean, he walked Brandon Garcia on 4 pitches. It was 5 pitches to Joe Muniz. And now 2 deliveries have missed to Ben Jones. So I believe the math there says 10 pitches have been balls, 10 of the first 12. Bassinger does catch the outside edge of the plate that time, and now it's a 2-1 count on Ben Jones, who enters with a .365 batting average. Benny Bombs was 4 for 8 against Roanoke over the weekend, did have a double, drove in 3. Only 1 walk in the weekend doubleheader for Ben Jones. That's rare. He's got 29 on the season. Comes the 2-1. Joe Muniz will run. Now this is a good pitch to throw on. They might have got Muniz. Yes, they did. Back-to-back caught stealing for Lynchburg. They've gotten 2 runners on with base on balls, and both have been caught stealing at second. Carter Merrill is 2 for 2 throwing them out. And let's give J.D. Bassinger, the pitcher, some credit for quick deliveries to the plate. That was a much better pitch to throw on, a neck-high fastball. Makes it a 3-1 count.
Yeah, really good throws from Merrill. I'm not too sure about the double caught stealing. You have Bassinger on the mound, who has been struggling to find the zone for all 3 hitters. So if Ben Jones gets walked here, you take away those 2 caught stealings, and you've got the bases loaded with no outs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the balance for a coach, is you want to be aggressive, as the 3-1 from Ben Jones is a ball. 3 straight walks. You want to be aggressive in your running game, in your game plan. You say, hey, we're a running team. We're going to steal bases. But how do you balance that, to your point, when a pitcher is struggling? I mean, that's why coaching's tough. That's why baseball's tough.
Yeah, I think the balance point that you get is that he's only been through 3 batters, and this is the first inning of play. Anything can change in the second inning and the third inning. He can come out and go 3 up, 3 down, and that's the beauty of the sport, honestly.
Check swing soared from Joe Gordon. He did go around. So it's a first pitch strike finally for J.D. Bassinger. Joe Gordon swinging it at .435 on the season. He's 10 for 23. Ben Jones will be a threat to run. 0-1 count with 2 outs. I mean, so yeah, now if you're Lynchburg, do you put the red light on, or do you continue to try to steal bases?
Go for the trifecta.
That would not be a good stat to have for Lynchburg. It would be a great one for Pfieffer. Ben Jones not running. He'll get to second here on a breaking ball in the dirt. And now the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Runner in scoring position finally for Lynchburg. I say finally because the first 3 batters got on, but there's already 2 down in the bottom of the first. Back-to-back, caught stealing. Maybe not quite back-to-back. That makes it sound like it was on consecutive pitches. But 2 potential runs retired at second base, caught stealing. Here's the 1-1 from Bassinger. Breaking ball inside. Joe Gordon looked like he was content to let that one maybe graze the elbow. It went just under the left arm, and now the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Ryder Warren on deck is a first-year DH from Richmond. Lynchburg with really a young lineup other than Logan Webster. Gordon sprays this one down the right field line. It will not stay in play. Ends up in the Falcon bullpen. Now the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. You've got juniors Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones in the lineup, of course. Joe Gordon's also a junior at the plate. Senior Logan Webster. So, I don't know. Maybe the lineup's not as young as I thought.
Well, we talked about it last time. It's hard to believe that players like Brandon Garcia and Ben Jones are already juniors.
Yeah. 3 sophomore, 2 freshmen in the starting lineup. So 5 underclassmen. Bassinger holds 2-2. Gordon pulls it left side. Shortstop gobbles up and throws. Good toss across the diamond there by Austin Wood. Ben Jones in scoring position, but he'll be stranded there. We're through 1 complete. There is no score from Fox Field. Pfieffer and Lynchburg on LHSN.
My name is Alexis Fabula. I major in criminology and I double minor in psychology and criminal forensics. My favorite part about Lynchburg is the friends that I've come to have. It's helped me come out of my shell more, and it's helped me become the person I am and the student I am. I really enjoyed how small the campus was, and I also really enjoy how small the class sizes are. It made me feel like I was going to be more engaged than I would at a bigger campus. If someone was on the fence of coming to the University of Lynchburg, I would definitely love to sit down and have a conversation with them because I'm forever grateful that I made this choice. It's definitely something that a student wouldn't regret. Out of my 4 years here, I've not had one bad experience. I've had a great 4 years, and I'm going to be very sad to go.
We're ready for this second inning. We'll say hello to some folks in the chat here. The roll call. Chris Judd says, go Hornets from Boston today. Chris Judd in Boston. That is fantastic, Chris. Riley O'Donovan in the house. Riley O'Ding Dong. He had a 2-home run game here last year around this time. I think it was early April. Riley, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Andrew says, go Pfieffer. Raid the Lynchburg Hornets nest. I like that, Andrew. Although Andrew's getting a little spicy in the chat, we do encourage people to stay polite and stay sporting and exercise good manners. There's a swing and a miss from Baden Gusa, who is a junior from Thomasville, North Carolina, playing third base for Pfieffer. He'll lead off the top of the second. Chris Jones is in the house. Gary Criswell is in the house, who's in Palm Harbor, Florida. I mean, coast to coast, border to border. We've got Hornet fans everywhere.
Love to see it.
Jonathan Warren is getting excited in the chat, and we'll try to keep it going. Ryan Gordon's in there. Our great friend Ginger Arrington says, go Berg. Brady Moore, the director of Brady Moore, and also baseball analytics with a simple go Hornets. Sometimes less is more. The 1-2 from Lucas Marrero. It's a called strike 3. Baden Gusa caught looking. Punch out number 2 for the first-year man, Lucas Marrero. And that's the first out of the second inning.
Starting off the top of the second, exactly how he left off. The confidence is definitely there on the hill. And if you can keep going like that, you're going to have nothing but success here.
Junior center fielder Connor Welker Gets into the batter's box. 333 on the season for Connor Welker. Marrero, another guy pitching from the stretch. He'll come set. Welker showing the bunt. Takes an outside fastball for strike one.
I like that from Welker. Team struggling so far, but being able to see that Matasutsui was a little even with the bag. He can find another way to get on with a drag bunt. I also like him pulling back there. That outside corner is tough to be able to get that down the third baseline.
Swing and a miss from Connor Welker. Yeah, Lynchburg defense in the loss to Roanoke had some defensive miscues. And maybe if you're Pfieffer, even if you just look at a box score or if you dig a little deeper and watch the tape from the weekend, maybe you see, hey, we got to get some balls in play. We got to force Lynchburg's infield to make some plays. I think that's a common theme for all teams. And obviously, if you're a guy like Connor Welker, you're playing center field, probably got some speed. You would think the base hit bunt would be part of the offensive arsenal. Welker fouled one off that hit our umpire, so Connor Moore stepped out to give. He's not the man in blue. You just can't even call umpire blue anymore because they wear that black so much now, even in the bigs.
It's also that, and you see some umpires, some of them will rep the pink shirts
too. The pinks, yeah. The red was common for a while. Mm-hmm. It's rare that they actually wear blue, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really. And it's really that light blue, too. Yeah. I agree with you. We haven't seen it in a while.
Swing and a miss. Connor Moore held on. It's back-to-back punch-outs for Lucas Marrero. Boy, this lefty looks really good. Excited to see him pitch. Anytime a guy makes their season debut, Ethan, it's exciting. But I think you're finding out a little bit what some of the hype was about for Lucas Marrero.
Yeah, 100%. If you're this Pfieffer lineup, obviously you want to take advantage of a young pitcher on the mound, but you also have to take into account that nobody's ever seen him pitch, so you don't know what he's going to come at you with throughout this game.
First pitch swinging here. Marrero might have to field his position. Nope, Joe Gordon's going to take that one himself. It's a 3-up, 3-down top of the second. Side retired in order. Lucas Marrero on the bump for Lynchburg, looking good. Hey, let's just stay here. Let's stay here and have some fun. We'll work on graphics and we'll keep our conversations going. Lynchburg hitting the road to Virginia Beach tomorrow to take on Virginia Wesleyan. Ethan, we could talk more about the season in general, the season as a whole for Lynchburg. 20-4, an outstanding year. Still work to do. I think the Hornets should be feeling pretty good about themselves. You mentioned might be a little bit of sting from the split this weekend against Roanoke, though.
Yeah, Roanoke definitely. I would say when I was here, and I would assume this year too, Roanoke definitely is one of the biggest rivals for Lynchburg. You're always going to get that chirping going on from both teams from each side. If you go back to the ODAC finals, there was a lot of it going on. There were a couple home runs, and obviously you're going to hear it from both teams. But I definitely agree that it is one of their biggest rivals, and you obviously want to sweep every series, but going up against Roanoke, you're going to want to take both games, especially because you can get that bragging rights. But Lynchburg's still number 2 in the nation. That's the highest they've been, I think, probably ever.
Well, they were number 1 after winning the national championship.
True.
But sure, for a regular season poll, I mean, you're right. I didn't say it to it wasn't an April Fool's joke or anything or to make you look bad. But, yeah, certainly regular season rating, I think you're right. I think that is the highest Lynchburg's ever been. So that's, an accomplishment and achievement. And I think most coaches will frame it that way. They'll say, hey, look, it's a reflection on what we've done so far, which we should feel good about. But it's doesn't mean we've won anything yet. So more hard work continues for both of these teams. For Pfieffer, their programs are on a little different trajectory right now. Falcons were 21-21 last year. Might be tough to get back to that 500 mark for Pfieffer, but they're sure going to try. 8-16 coming into this ball game. Here's Ryder Warren, designated hitter from Richmond, is hitting .231 this season. Did homer over the weekend against Roanoke in 2 really different games. I think I talked about it a little bit as Warren takes the first pitch fastball for a strike. Lynchburg blew a lead in game 1. That was a game where they couldn't make an out early in the first inning. Sean Pokorak had a home run. There were back-to-back doubles in that first inning. Everything went Lynchburg's way early. And then late, it went the Maroons' way. They end up coming back to win 8-7. And game 2 was basically all Lynchburg, 11-1, the victory there. I would say maybe when you win game 2, that makes the ride home a little bit easier, doesn't it? If you are going to split.
Yeah, I completely agree. The last 2 times that we went on road trips against Roanoke, we've lost the second game, won the first one. So it does make you feel a little bit better on the ride home, but obviously there's still that thought in your mind thinking, wow, I really wanted to win that first game, or wow, I really wanted to win that second game.
Swing and a miss from Ryder Warren. He's down on strikes for the first out of the bottom of the second inning. J.D. Bassinger has his first strikeout, and better control exhibited in that at bat anyway. Remember, Bassinger walked 3 in the first inning, but it didn't burn him. No runs for Lynchburg. They leave Ben Jones stranded in scoring position. Ball 1 to Logan Webster, senior from Chesapeake, with a .342 season average. Webster's ready for the 1-0. A little bit of a pause there from Bassinger. That ball is wide, and now the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Connor Moore on deck. He's got great numbers this season. Sean Pokorak doing more catching this year, but Connor Moore has really settled into that true second catcher spot. Webster thought that was inside. Umpire disagrees. The verdict is a 2-1 count with 1 out in the bottom of the second inning.
Yeah, really only good things to say about Connor Moore. He's stepped up into his catcher's role this season.
This ball's lifted to medium right field. Not a long run there for Hunter Honeycutt. And Honeycutt reels it in for the second out of the inning. And this is Connor Moore, 8 for 21 on the year. 381 is the season average for C. Moore, who's also a pitcher, a true two-way guy. And gosh, that pitching-catching combo is as tough as it gets, Ethan.
Yeah, and the good thing is that there are plenty of pitchers to where Connor Moore, obviously, you never really want to take your catcher out of that catching role throughout the game unless it was a situation like Grayson Thurman going in the 9th inning and then you put Holden Fiedler back there. But Connor Moore, I mean, he's just done a great job behind the plate, at the plate, and even on the mound this year, and it's something that you love to see. I mean, he's just a great guy, great player, works his butt off no matter what day of the week it is or what part of the year it is, winter, spring, autumn, or summer. So it's great to see Connor Moore be able to step up into this role and be successful at the same time.
1-1 count for Connor Moore. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the second. Yeah, a lot of work, though, as a pitcher and a catcher. I guess the only thing that could make it more work is if you were also a switch hitter, right? Then you'd have to take double the BP, and you'd be pitching, you'd be catching, all that. Matt Cassidy, another one for Lynchburg, a notable two-way guy, pitcher-catcher. Cassidy still trying to work himself back from injury. 1-2 coming up from J.D. Bassinger. The pitch. Moore swings and misses. We'll have a play at first. No problem for Carter Merrill, and it's side retired in order for both teams in the second inning. A fast-moving second frame. We're going to the top of the third, 0-0 between the Falcons and the Hornets.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Top 3 at Fox Field in Lynchburg. I'm Kyle Haney, Ethan Morotsky to my right. And you're the final piece of the puzzle, baseball fans. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are. It's April 1st. We've got high school baseball. We've got college baseball. We've got professional baseball. Ethan, you said that you wanted to bring up the fact that the Milwaukee Brewers did not have a great opening weekend. Didn't have a great day yesterday either.
No, not at all. We were 0-4 on the season, but you know what? There's still, 158 games left? There's always a bright spot.
Yeah. There is. There's always another game. Until there's not, I guess. But, yeah, 157, 158 left. You got time.
Yeah, till the playoffs.
That's right. Carter Merrill, grad student catcher, takes the first pitch from Lucas Marrero. First-year man from Gainesville, really looking good for Lynchburg. That one well wide out of the hand. I gave the little mini scouting report as we were coming on. I mean, firm fastball from Marrero, sharp slider, and the third pitch really plays well. The changeup, especially to right-handed hitters. I think that might have been it there to Carter Merrill, but Merrill didn't bite, and it's a 2-1 count. I mean, if you could come in as a freshman and command 3 pitches at this level, you got a great chance to have success. It's not guaranteed, but you got a good shot.
Oh, absolutely, and obviously with most pitchers, you have that fastball, which could be a little bit of a two-seam with depending on how much run they have, and then you kind of have that curveball or slider, which is their second pitch. If you can get that changeup or another type of off-speed pitch, I mean, that to be able to have 3 pitches in your repertoire is so crucial, especially for a starting pitcher if that's the role that Lucas Marrero is trying to fill in here.
2-2. Ground ball left side. Maddox Tsutsui plays a long hop, long throw, but the connection is complete at first base. Good stretch from Joe Gordon. There's one down in the top of the third inning. It'll bring up the 9-hole man, Austin Wood, shortstop, hitting .205 so far this season. But, yeah, just back to Marrero, sometimes guys in high school, especially if you've got velocity, you don't need 3 pitches. You just blow high school hitters away with the fastball and the curve slider, like you said. And then, yes, you're obviously developing a third, fourth, maybe even a 5th pitch. But can you throw it under pressure with command? I mean, that's always the question. And it looks like Marrero is a guy that can do that as he gets across strike one to Austin Wood.
It was weird back in high school when I was a pitcher. Obviously, feels like 100 years ago now, but back then, I actually didn't throw a fastball slider. I threw fastball changeup.
Okay.
And so it was a little weird because my slider wasn't very good. And so it's a little something different that you can get from pitchers. And there are some pitchers that we've had that here at Lynchburg. You go back to Tommy Preston. One of his best pitches was the changeup. So if you can master that off-speed for a lefty, I mean, that's just beautiful.
Soft contact, left side. Tsutsui's going to have to make another play. This one on the run. Joe Gordon came off, tried to slap the tag on the back of Austin Wood, but safe is the call at first base. That should be an infield single. Second hit of the ball game for Pfieffer. And, yeah, just continuing the conversation about pitches. Yeah, if you've got 1 or 2 pitches that are dominant, sometimes you don't need the other stuff. I think Mariano Rivera, of course. I guess he's the most famous example when you have 1 pitch that is just so lights out. But for the average person, for the mere mortals, a lot of times you're going to need more than 1 or 2 pitches, and especially for a starting pitcher as well. That's part of it. Those closers a lot of times can get away with that because they're only throwing 1 inning, maybe sometimes 2, as Marrero will toss to Austin Wood's direction and keep him close.
I think Trevor Hoffman is another good example. He had that really good changeup for the Padres and the Brewers.
That's exactly right. I mean, I guess if you take out starting pitchers, I mean, Trevor Hoffman is the changeup king. Because, if you start talking about changeups, you're going to get into your Greg Maddoxes and your Pedro
Williams.
Martinez. Yeah, Devin Williams, of course, another reliever with the great changeup. But, yeah, definitely. Devin Williams, the changeup for him is almost more like a screwball with the amount of movement that it has. As Hunter Honeycutt, the hitter, second time facing Lucas Marrero. He's fouled a couple away. It's an 0-2 count on Honeycutt. For Austin Wood, stealing bases on the season, he's 4 for 4. Mentioned Pfieffer as a team steals them at almost 95%. This one's hit well into the right center gap, and it's down. A base hit for Honeycutt. He's going to go for second. Might be a play there. Garcia scrambling back. Misses the throw from Ben Jones. Back up from Marrero was the right idea, but he actually let the ball get behind him. It hit the fencing in front of the Lynchburg dugout. Runner at third, Austin Wood, couldn't advance anymore. So it is a double from Hunter Honeycutt. An interesting one in the fact that Lynchburg, I think they thought that was going to be more of a sure double. Brandon Garcia was out almost in a tandem relay situation. Then he sprinted back to second. Couldn't corral the throw from Ben Jones. Honeycutt safe at second. Wood stays at third after the throw kind of got by the Lynchburg defense. It's back-to-back base hits, though, for Pfieffer. Falcons offense looking ready to take flight. This ball is upstairs to Joe Javier, who had the first hit of the ball game back in inning number 1. Javier hits .390 on the season, and Lynchburg has activity in their bullpen. 1-0 pitch from Lucas Marrero. That's a called strike, and now our count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out in the top of the third. Two-hole man is a junior from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Joe Javier. .365 hitter in his career. This one down and in. Good stop and smother from Connor Moore. Seemed like the pitch might have been where Connor Moore and the Lynchburg coaches wanted there based on the little head nod from Moore back to Marrero. Lynchburg defense, normal depth. Looks like they're content to trade a run for an out. There's a backdoor breaking ball from Marrero. Looked good, and the count is even at 2-2.
I really like that pitch, and I like the decision. You're playing a little back. You got Matt Tsutsui and Joe Gordon a little bit behind the bag. If there is a play that can be made at the plate, they'll definitely go towards it.
Yeah, something hard at one of those guys. They could have a play there. You're right. Marrero tried to go to the front door that time. And Joe Javier laid off. Count is full, 1 out. Top of the third inning. Sunny day here at Fox Field. Upper 60s, low 70s. Light winds look like they're blowing out to right center. Marrero set, fires, up high, and it's ball 4. First walk he has issued today. And it does load the bases with 1 out. Brings up Wilson Laurer, senior from Charlotte, a .394 career hitter. This man is dangerous. He flew out to right field in his first at-bat. And here comes a mound visit from Michael Solbach. I'm Kyle. He's Ethan. All the info is available online at lynchburgsports.com with the live stats and the schedule and all the previous results as well. You can go diving through those box scores, Ethan, and find some stats that even we don't have.
I think that walk isn't the worst case scenario for Lucas Marrero. You got 1 out, and now the bases are loaded like you said, and that allows a force out anywhere. So if it's hit, even at Matt Tsutsui, he has the choice of going to third or even going to the plate to stop even the opportunity of 1-run scoring if you can't get that second out. So you got to look on the bright side here if you're Lucas Marrero on the mound. Keep your confidence up. You know your pitches are working today so far, and just try and get a ground ball for your infield.
You're 1 pitch away here if you're Lucas Marrero. And the psychology for Wilson Laurer is, hey, now there's another runner on base for me. And that's the battle. That's the mind game that players really have to play, the successful ones. Breaking ball from Marrero, just missed. It's a 1-0 count to Wilson Laurer. He is a senior on the season, .392. He's driven in 20. No home runs, no triples, but 6 doubles. This ball's grounded to the right side. Ben Jones is there. Lynchburg has 1. Lynchburg has 2. It is tic-tac-toe around the diamond for Lynchburg, and they get out of trouble in the third. Falcons loaded the bases, but come up empty after Batman and Robin turn another one for Lynchburg. 2 for the price of 1, and we move to the bottom of the third inning on LHSN.
Look what you're missing.
All right, defense on display for Lynchburg in the top of the third. Another double play, 4-6-3. Ground ball to Ben Jones. They get the first one at second. Brandon Garcia, quick turn, and a good stretch from Joe Gordon at first base. Pfieffer, 2 hits in the inning. Also got one on with a walk. Bases were loaded. But no score still in the bottom of the third inning from Fox Field in Lynchburg. Hornets have Parker Cato, Maddox Tsutsui, and then the top of the order, Brandon Garcia, due up 8-9-1 as Parker Cato watches the first pitch from J.D. Bassinger. Hey, you got to give Bassinger some credit too, don't you, Ethan? I mean, he walked the first 3 hitters of the ball game, but since then has looked pretty solid.
Yeah, he's flipped the script and flipped the switch. He's done a good job keeping it close to the zone. Even if you are throwing balls, if you can keep them competitive, that's really a recipe for success against this squad.
1-1 count to Parker Cato. Cato, a first-year man from Wake Forest, North Carolina, 16 for 68 on the season. He's basically fallen into his everyday starting role. He's played some center field, also right field, a bit more right field here in the past month. And some of that due to the injury of Quinn Madden. Lynchburg had to shuffle some things around in the outfield. 2-1 pitch coming up from Bassinger to Cato. That's just north of the zone, and now it's 3 balls, 1 strike. Maddox Tsutsui on deck, did get his first collegiate hit over the weekend against Roanoke. We saw Maddox Tsutsui jump in that game last week against Greensboro where Gavin Collins got hurt, drew a bases-loaded walk, ended up getting his first career RBI. Parker Cato walks here, 4th one that Bassinger has issued. And the 9-hole man, Maddox Tsutsui, steps in. He's a sophomore from Chesapeake. Averages 167 right now. That is 1 for 6 in his sophomore campaign. Could be a sacrifice bunt situation here with a runner on first. Parker Cato does run well. And also, we should note, Lynchburg has been caught stealing twice in this ball game already. That was in the first inning. Tsutsui did show the bunt. That ball got away from Carter Merrill. So we were very complimentary of Merrill in that first inning with the catch and throw. But this one hit his mitt and popped out and allowed Parker Cato to get a free 90 feet.
Good read from the dugout. If you can hear it, as soon as that ball had even a lick of space out of his glove, that entire dugout was screaming yes, yes, yes for Parker Cato.
First baseman's in on the grass. Third baseman just past the cut line. Maddox Tsutsui opens the feet and shows a sacrifice bunt set up again. This one's a called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count with nobody out. Brandon Garcia on deck. Shortstop holding Cato tight at second. Second baseman swung way over to the right like he's going to come in and cover first. Here's the pitch. Maddox Tsutsui fouls that one off of himself, and that is a foul ball. A 1-2 setup with nobody out. We'll see if the sac bunt is on here. I will point out, Lynchburg had Brandon Garcia sacrifice bunt with 2 strikes in that Roanoke doubleheader. Hollywood got it down, but that was after fouling off a couple bunt attempts before that, so it was kind of a high wire act there, bunting with 2 strikes. Let's see if Maddox Tsutsui does that here. Looks like he's going to swing away. Breaking ball was close from Bassinger, but ball 2.
Good job being able to hold that, being a good look. Obviously, you have those first 2 bunt attempts that were strikes, so it's tough. You haven't swung the bat for those first 2 strikes, so to be able to hold that on a really good slider is a great job from Tsutsui.
The 2-2 on the way. This ball pounded foul. And we'll rerun it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the bottom of the third inning. For Pfieffer, no runs on 3 hits. They've left 3 stranded. Lynchburg does not have a hit yet, but 4 walks, 4 base on balls for Lynchburg. Hornets offense has struck out a couple times. Bassinger has had good stuff when he's been in the zone. He'll get the sign from the catcher, Merrill. And now we're ready to go with that 2-2. Nope, not yet. Inside move and a spin to second to keep Parker Cato close to the bag. Starting to see some green on the trees out there beyond the fence line. That's a nice sign of spring. The grass is very green. Good deck to play on here. Ground ball, left side. Third baseman has it. Checks Cato. Cato wants to advance to third. Head first slide. He's in there safely. Maddox Tsutsui will ground out, but a productive out. Some good base running from Parker Cato to speed into third there. One gone in the bottom of the third inning.
Hey, good job from Cato. He got a good look. Great job being able to hold up on a ground ball to the third baseman. You don't want to show anything because every single ground ball that he's going to get at third base or shortstop, you're going to take a peek at second to make sure that runner's not going anywhere. So great job from Cato to wait and just stay patient, wait for the throw over to first.
One out, Brandon Garcia, second plate appearance. Walked his first time up. This one's off the plate in the other batter's box. Third baseman is in on the grass. Rest of the infield, normal depth, straight away. Outfield playing Brandon Garcia slightly to pull. 1-0 count with one out in the bottom of the third inning. A tie ball game, 0-0. Garcia lifting this one to the left side. Let's see if it's deep enough to score. Parker Cato. Left fielder has it. Cato takes off. Play at the plate coming up. Head first slide from Cato. He's in well safe. And now it's a 1-0 Lynchburg lead. Sacrifice fly from Brandon Garcia.
Great job. That's a great team at bat from Garcia. Got it deep enough to where you could score. Cato, obviously, with the speed that he has in the outfield and on third base there, he's going to be able to score there a lot.
Great observation there by you. Understanding the assignment, Brandon Garcia, trusting your skills. Just know you got to put a decent swing on it. Catch the bottom half of that ball, get enough of it so it's fairly deep in the outfield, and you know Parker Cato's got speed. Well executed by Lynchburg. Joe Munitz tried to execute a base hit bunt and pushed it foul. Munitz got nearly down to the bag. He'll take the walk back and hit with an 0-1 count. 2 gone in the bottom of the first, but Lynchburg has taken their first lead of the ball game. Ben Jones on deck. Bassinger is set and ready to go. The 0-1. Munitz had to dodge that as it came in his batter's box. 1 ball, 1 strike. For Pfieffer, they actually have not beaten Lynchburg since 2002. 9 straight wins for the Hornets against the Falcons. Munitz will foul this one away, and it's a 1-2 count. Pfieffer is 8-16 this year. They've only won 1 game on the road, Ethan, so some struggles for Pfieffer. They 1-11 on the road, so you got to think at home, that means they're like 7-5 at home. The 1-2 to Joe Munitz is a ball. No, it's a strike. It's a strike. I got fooled. Joe Munitz got fooled. You might have gotten fooled too because you didn't say anything. Punch out there. Joe Munitz caught looking. With that goof up, let's just stay here and we'll see what other trouble we can get into. As there's 3 complete. Lynchburg leads 1-0 without a hit. By the way, typical Lynchburg baseball. Got a run without a hit. But the Hornets are on top, 1-0. That pitch from Munitz, that was deceiving.
Yeah, it looked maybe a little bit outside, possibly caught the corner. So great job on Bassinger to come back into that inning. Obviously, you give up that run, but you went 3 up, 3 down in that second inning, and then you only saw 4 batters in the third. So after 3 straight walks in that home half of the first, he's done a great job being able to come back, flip the script, and do a better job on the mound.
I think our umpire is one that gives that verbal call first and then the visual.
Yeah.
So I think he called a strike, but then the visual with the punch out came a little later. And of course the umpires are supposed to do both, so people like us and the official scorer and the fans, can have an idea of what's happening in the game. But Joe Munitz seemed to be as fooled as I was. It's a strikeout looking. Bassinger has punched out 3 in his 3 complete innings. And you pointed out a good job to bounce back. I mean, Bassinger, outside of the walks, is obviously pitching pretty good. He hasn't given up a hit just yet. And this man, Lucas Marrero's got a shutout working for Lynchburg in his first collegiate appearance. Hornets wouldn't have given him the ball if they didn't have some faith and some confidence in Marrero, but always nice when a first-year guy can back up the hype and back up the belief.
Yeah, he must have been doing a great job in his live at-bats that they have, or even those inner squads. And Coach Beasley obviously has some confidence in Lucas Marrero, so he's throwing him up on the mound, and he's been doing a good job so far.
Marrero, another guy that pitches from the stretch, even with nobody on, fires a strike in there. And it's an 0-1 count after Levi Barrett cut on a high one and fouled it away. First pitch strikes have been really good for Marrero. He seems to understand the importance of that. And he's another guy that seems to trust the stuff in the zone, has walked one. Nothing has come across the plate yet for the Pfieffer Falcons. That was after getting the bases loaded in the third inning. We're in the top of the fourth now. Swing and miss from Levi Barrett. That was that changeup there. Good action on that. Noticeable velocity difference, and it had some movement away from the righty. Here's the 0-2. Marrero went after him. Soft contact, left side. Maddox Tsutsui, got another one. He'll throw across for the first out of the fourth inning.
I really like how confident Tsutsui looks at third. No matter what's going on, you're never really going to be able to tell the emotion that he has on his face. But again, he looks so confident being able to take over Gavin Collins at third base while he's dealing with an injury.
Gavin Collins, of course, the fifth-year man who was marching up so many different leaderboards here at the University of Lynchburg. Collins is now the career games played leader for the Hornets. Suffered an injury a week ago in a non-conference game against Greensboro. It was one where he legged out a double into second base. Actually, I think he got thrown out at second, but it was a base hit, thrown out at second, and he was slow to get up, has not played since. 0-1 as Marrero, another dot here to start an at-bat. That was awfully close on the breaking ball. 1-1 count to Baden Gusa. Third baseman, junior, hits .278 on the season. He struck out looking against Marrero in his first at-bat. Marrero went with another slurvy, kind of a slider breaking ball. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Infield straight away. Outfield the same. Normal depth for Lynchburg against Baden Gusa. Gusa waits. Marrero fires. Swing and a miss from number 1 from Pfieffer. Connor Welker on deck. Also struck out in his first at bat. Pfieffer has hit 12 home runs as a team. Lynchburg, for reference, has clubbed 9. Swing and a miss from Baden Gusa. Back-to-back punch-outs for him. And that is strikeout number 4 for the freshman, Lucas Marrero.
Number 2, Connor Wilker.
Great job. He's got that run on his fastball, and he's using it to his advantage. It looked like he might have started that pitch outside of the zone, and it just came back with a little bit of a two-seam kind of movement. Found the strike zone, and a protective swing from Gusa. Couldn't foul anything off.
Junior Connor Welker is the center fielder for Pfieffer. Struck out in his first at bat. That time Marrero missed the zone, spiked one into the dirt that Moore couldn't handle. 1 ball, no strikes. Lynchburg will have Ben Jones leading it off in their half of the fourth inning. 3-4-5 due up for the Hornets, who lead 1-0. I'm Kyle Haney, Ethan Morotsky, my colleague. Oh yeah, you're supposed to jump in for the play-by-play next time. We'll start that in the bottom of the fourth. We always have these great schemes and plans, and then you forget about all that stuff.
It's because all the fun we have, Kyle.
We do have fun. I think we should take better notes. 2-0 count. And then you got to not lose those on your way to the ball game or when you get in the press box here. 3-0 as Marrero has walked 1 this game, but overall we felt that his control has not been questionable at all, maybe until this moment. Marrero missed there. 4-pitch walk. That will extend the inning. It's a 2-out walk that'll bring up C.J. Acosta. He grounded out to end inning number 2 in his first plate appearance. Game number 100 in the career for C.J. Acosta. Congratulations to the 5th-year man from Burlington, North Carolina. Welker leads off. Center fielder will be a threat to run. On the season, Connor Welker, this is game 18 that he's played in, 7 for 7 in the stolen base column of your stat sheet. And they got him going. Lynchburg will have to hustle this ball to Brandon Garcia. Catches, gets the glove down, and makes the tag to end inning number 4 for Pfieffer. They do get 1 on, but 1 retired on the bases. Good glove work from Lynchburg, again, to preserve a 1-0 lead at Fox Field.
I learned a lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go in a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and ropes course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
Welcome back to James C. Fox Field. Foxy Field, it's a beautiful day here in the Hill City. Sun everywhere. We've got Ben Jones leading off the inning. A little bit of a switch up. I'll take the play-by-play for the next couple innings as there's a pause in play with the home plate umpire. Obviously not ready. Might have been a little late on the walk-up song, but Ben Jones leading us off, followed by Joe Gordon and Ryder Warren. Going to try and see some more hits this inning for Lynchburg. Still yet to get that first one as that one just misses the corner for ball one on Ben Jones. We got a new pitcher for the Pfieffer Eagles. We've got Cayman Buck, the sophomore from Norwood, North Carolina. The righty on the mound as that one check swing just misses the corner again, so it'll be 2-0 to start the count for Ben Jones.
Cayman Buck comes in with a 12.46 earned run average. This will be game number 5 that he has pitched in, just over 4 1/3 innings now. He did work against Lynchburg a little bit 3 weeks ago.
2-1 pitch outside, and it'll be 3 balls and 1 strike. Looking for another walk here for Ben Jones. He was one of the 3 in that top of the first that walked on this Lynchburg lineup. 3-1 pitch. Low for ball 4, so it'll be Ben Jones' second walk of the evening and another leadoff walk for the Hornets. And that'll bring up Joe Gordon, the first baseman for the Hornets today.
31 walks on the season now for Ben Jones. He'll be close to the nation's lead in that category, Division III baseball anyway.
Seems like he's just tallying more and more every single game, but like you said, he only walked once this weekend against Roanoke, so they did a good job keeping him off the bases off of the free 90 feet. That one catches the corner, called strike 1. Ben Jones with an aggressive secondary at first base.
Of course, the downside of that is Ben Jones was 4 for 8 against Roanoke, so if you throw it in the zone, he can hit it. It's pick your poison, really, as Jones fakes the steal.
Gordon fouls that one off towards the left side. Caught a lot of people on that Pfieffer dugout thinking that Ben Jones was going to steal, and he is a threat. He got second on a wild pitch in the the bottom of the first, excuse me. So still no hits for the Hornets. Joe Gordon looking to change that. He's down 0-2 in the count. That one in the dirt. Ben Jones with a decent read. Throw to second, almost in time. He kind of slipped in the dirt. But Ben Jones being able to take second on a dirt ball read is a good block from the catcher Merrill, but a better job from Ben Jones to be able to read that one and take second base, and now you're just 180 feet from scoring position, or in scoring position.
Yeah, catcher Carter Merrill kind of lost the footing, but still unleashed a pretty decent throw. Ben Jones just too quick. Good read from Ben Jones. That's one thing Lynchburg does so well, reading those balls in the dirt. Not exactly a free 90 because you got to work for it, but definitely advantageous.
Well, every throw for Merrill has been pretty much on the dot. A 2-strike pitch rolled over to the third baseman. He's going to check Ben Jones at second and walk him pretty much all the way back to the bag. And the throw to first is in time for the first out of the inning.
Good play again there by Baden Gusa. Parker Cato got to third on a similar play last inning, a ground ball to the third baseman. So Gusa with a little bit of a longer look that time to make sure Ben Jones could not do the same.
Yeah, good adjustment there on that play, and that brings up Ryder Warren, the freshman in the lineup. One of the few, along with Parker Cato, like you mentioned earlier. So he's going to have a runner on second. A single will most likely score Ben Jones with the speed that he has on second. First pitch right down Broadway for strike one. A little check swing from Warren.
Yeah, Ryder Warren homered over the weekend. 6 for 26 this season. Make it 6 for 27 after striking out in his first at bat today.
And a home run as a freshman, that's such a big confidence booster going into any matchup. As the 0-1 pitch catches a backdoor slider, finds the corner for strike number 2.
Yeah, umpire's got some width to his strike zone. We saw that when Joe Munich struck out looking. So a little bit of a wider zone, and that'll be an adjustment for all the hitters. Got to make that quickly, though. We're already in the bottom of the fourth.
The good thing is the consistency's there. The 0-2 pitch line right back up the middle. Ben Jones, he's going to round third and head for the plate. The throw is going not in time, and Warren going to take second on the throw to the plate. So it'll be an RBI single for Ryder Warren, and it'll give the Hornets a 2-run lead in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, fantastic baseball right there all the way around. Ryder Warren with a great swing, hard contact up the middle, good piece of hitting. Ben Jones with his speed, and then Ryder Warren reads the throw out of the center fielder's hand, realizes a cut man is not going to be able to relay that to second base, so he knows he can take second on the high throw. Excellent piece of base running right there for Ryder Warren. And it will be the first hit of the ball game for Lynchburg.
You've still got a runner on second with just one out for one of your more experienced hitters, Logan Webster, at the plate now as he takes strike one right on the outside corner.
Yeah, as a center fielder, you've got to throw that ball lower. That ball's got to be around head high, so the first baseman cut man can either relay it or he can at least fake it and hold Ryder Warren at first base.
Swung on and missed by Webster. Looked like an off-speed down there, low on the plate. A 2-run lead for Lynchburg with only one hit. And we talk about how many base-on balls that this Lynchburg lineup has had, and you can really talk about it throughout the whole season. The 0-2 pitch is called strike 3, so it'll be a strikeout looking for Logan Webster. And that'll be the second out of the inning. And going back to the walks category, that's what this Lynchburg team does so well, is they get deep into counts and they're not afraid of going deep into accounts, which instills more confidence throughout the entire season. When you get those walks and those multiple walk innings, just one single can score a couple of runs, and that's exactly what Lynchburg's done today so far.
Yeah, 5 walks, 2 have now scored, and you get a longer look at the pitcher when you do that. You run those longer counts. Yes, there's a lot to be said for being aggressive. That one nearly hit Ryder Warren going by. A lot to be said for being aggressive and being ready to hit early in counts, but if you have that small zone early, you get a better look at the pitcher, more information, you see the shapes of the breaking balls, you get a feel for the fastball, just get more rhythm, more timing, more success.
Allows you to see more pitches, too, for later on in a pitcher's debut. As Connor Moore smokes this one in the left center field gap. Ryder Warren going to score. Connor Moore going to get extra bases as that one rolls towards the fence. And that'll be an RBI double for the catcher, Connor Moore.
So Lynchburg went 3 full innings without a base hit. Now they've got 2 in the 4th inning. Great piece right there from Connor Moore. Backside barrel showcasing some power the opposite way. Lynchburg on top 3-0.
We'll go over it again as Parker Cato steps up to the plate. Connor Moore has done a great job stepping up onto this squad behind the plate and in the pitcher's column. We obviously early on in the season they brought in transfer Joey Duffer. They thought he was going to be that number 2 guy, but obviously you're never entirely sure until the season starts. And then obviously an ACL injury to Duffer had to have Connor Moore step up, and that's exactly what he's done so far in this season for the Hornets.
Well, the catcher's room was really ravaged by injuries this season. So, yeah, you have guys like Connor Moore that have had to fill multiple roles, and, of course, he can bang it as well. I mean, you saw that from that at bat. He's a guy that was going to was going to find himself in a lineup or two at some point this year, but now with a little bit of a lack of depth for catching, Connor Moore is getting even more reps. This one got away from his counterpart, Carter Merrill, and it will be 90 extra feet for Connor Moore. Seymour finds himself at third base after Merrill couldn't quite corral the low one from the pitcher, Cayman Buck.
Yeah, good dirt ball read. It looked like he had a good block on it. He just wasn't sure where that dirt ball went. And so Connor Moore takes third base just 90 feet away from scoring position 90 feet away with 2 outs. Obviously, you're going to want a single as that one's high and outside for ball 2. But now that you're 90 feet away, any wild pitch or pass ball also scores. So that does put just a tiny bit more pressure on the pitcher.
Well, and the catcher, Carter Merrill, who's had a couple get away from him this inning. Ben Jones got to second on a ball in the dirt. Parker Cato fouls one away. Good hands from the assistant coach, Cam Lane. He snared that one. Did not let it hit the fence. Cam Lane showing some deep pockets over there at the first base coach's box.
We got deuces wild, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs for Parker Cato. 2-2 pitch from Buck is blooped into center field, and this is going to be another base hit, another RBI, and another run for the Lynchburg Hornets as they extend their lead now to 4 runs with an RBI single from Parker Cato.
A 2-out, 2-strike RBI. Those are the best kinds. Excellent piece of hitting right there from Parker Cato. And now Lynchburg's really got the carousel going on, the merry-go-round here. They have scored 4, 3 of them in this inning. Maddox Tsutsui with a chance to drop a quarter in and jump on the ride himself and keep this frame going.
A little bit of a 2-out rally for the Hornets. They had that 2-out double from Connor Moore, and now that 2-out single. As that one lays down the left field line, it's going to be a fair ball according to the umpire. Parker Cato, he's going to round third and head for the plate. There's going to be no throw, so it'll be an RBI double for Maddox Tsutsui.
3 hits in a row for Lynchburg, and it really is contagious. Said Maddox Tsutsui was going to put a coin in the slot, jump on the ride. He did just that as he wheels around to second base. A couple doubles in the inning for Lynchburg as well. This is the Hornets offense that we know what they're capable of. We know this is in the arsenal right here. And this is the drawback to, if you do throw them strikes, Lynchburg is going to hit it. Yes, they'll take the walks when you're not in the zone. They'll swing the bats when you do pitch in the zone.
Well, that's just it. They've done it all. First pitch right down Broadway for Brandon Garcia. He had that leadoff walk from Ben Jones, and he ended up scoring, and then just 4 beautiful swings from the Hornets, being able to keep the inning alive with 2 outs. And now you've got still a runner in scoring position for your leadoff hitter, Brandon Garcia. A 1 pitch from Buck, fouled off to the left side, and it's going to be quickly 0-2.
Yeah, Connor Moore, that was an A-plus swing with the backside power there. Parker Cato, and maybe not A-plus, but it was 2 strikes. So he really did what he had to do to get that ball towards the middle of the field. And Maddox Tsutsui just ambushing the first pitch fastball there, spinning on 1. 0-2 hole for Brandon Garcia.
0-2 pitch outside for ball 1. I like the idea. Don't want anything too close on 2 strikes. You've got one of the top leadoff hitters probably in the nation at the plate, and he's going to force you into a long at-bat no matter what the count is. 1-2 pitch on Garcia. Buck comes set, winds and fires to the plate outside for ball 2, and it'll be deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs.
Good snag there by Merrill. And if you're Pfieffer, you just got to get out of the inning. You got to find a way to end the inning, get back in the dugout, regroup, reorganize, hopefully re-attack.
Never going to get an easy out with Garcia at the plate. So 2-2 pitch from Buck outside. We're going to have a full count now on Garcia.
Brandon Garcia has already walked once in this game, sacrifice fly. So 2 very productive at-bats for Hollywood. Still looking for his first hit, though. And he does carry a 9-game hitting streak coming into the game.
Trying to make it double digits. He got caught stealing in that first inning. You know he's going to want some revenge on the catcher. Full count pitch up the middle, chopped towards second base. Throw in time, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning, but not before Lynchburg scores 4 runs on 4 hits and 1 walk. 2 doubles from Connor Moore. and Maddie Tsutsui. So great bottom fourth of the inning. We'll be right back. Let's catch our breath here at Fox Field on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Top of the fifth, action set to commence. We've still got Lucas Marrero on the mound. He's done a great job. Only 3 hits given up to the Falcons. No runs scored. So he's doing a great job as a freshman. Your first outing, too. Keep that in mind. First pitch finds the zone on a beautiful slurve slider kind of pitch. And that's really where the confidence comes from. Obviously, you're going to have your fastball down majority of the time, but if you can be able to slot that slider wherever you want, it's a beautiful job. As that one evens up the count of 1-1, gets by Connor Moore behind the plate.
Yeah, and that one had some depth too. That one felt more like maybe a true curveball there. Not quite your 12-6 break, but on the clock face maybe 1-7 for that lefty. But I do think he calls it a slider from my understanding. So you weren't wrong to call it that yourself.
1-1 pitch outside for ball 2. No, I agree with you. It's kind of looks like maybe an in-betweener, but so there are some pitchers out there. As that 2-1 pitch swung on and missed for strike 2, even up the count. There are some pitchers out there that can master the curveball and the slider. And if you can do that, it's a beautiful job for the pitcher. You'll be able to change the eye level with both pitches. 2-2 pitch for Marrero. High for ball 3, and we'll do full count for Acosta.
Yeah, if you can get both, that's the perfect package. And sometimes the problem there is they sort of blend together, and you start to lose the depth on the curveball, and you lose the horizontal on the slider sometimes.
Full count pitch popped up to the left side. Logan Webster ranging forward, and he's going to catch it for out number 1. So a great job from Marrero to continue the success on the mound, getting your first out of the inning on the leadoff batter. And that'll bring up the catcher, Merrill. And we're going to have a pitching change as Beasley walks out to the mound. We'll try and see. Looks like Mason McDowell will head out. Mason McDowell, number 13 for this squad. He's had great success. You go back to 2 years ago on that World Series run. Kind of filled that role with the setup man for Jack Batchmore and sometimes even closing games out. And so we expect to see him do well today. You go to his pitching repertoire. He's got a really nice fastball, a lot of speed, a lot of velocity, and a little bit of run too, and then you can pull the string with the off-speed too.
Yeah, life on the fastball for Mason McDowell. He's a junior now. You mentioned the 2023 run. He did get key save against Wisconsin Lacrosse, got the win in the Super Regional closeout game against Shenandoah, and it wasn't exactly out of nowhere, but Mason McDowell, at the beginning of the year, really wasn't getting a lot of innings, but just came on so strong in 2023. Had some good numbers last year as well, 1-1 with 3 saves and 32 innings pitched. And this season for Mason McDowell, The earned run average is a little elevated, 12.46. He's thrown 3 times so far this year. This will be appearance number 4. Does have 1 win and 1 save, though, for Lynchburg. And, hey, tip your cap to Lucas Marrero. First-year man pitches into the 5th inning. Be 4 1/3 officially, surrendering 2 hits, walked 2, no runs. And Marrero, I think it's probably a pitch count issue there, Ethan, or not issue, just he'd reached the limit of what the staff needed to see from him today. I shouldn't say issue, that's not the right phrasing, but the number got where Lynchburg wanted it to be, and now it's time to pass the baton, pass the baseball to the bullpen.
Hey, great job, great first outing from Marrero. We really weren't sure what to expect going in, and he definitely exceeded expectations, so like you said, tip your cap to Lucas Marrero, and now he's passed the rock off to Mason McDowell. And I was talking to Mason earlier this season, and a lot of it's just a confidence issue, and it's not that he's not confident with himself, it's just with those pitches, if you're not confident where you're throwing it at, hey, it's going to be easier for the hitters. But this is a good game for McDowell to be able to come back in this season and solidify himself into the rotation, as that one is blown by Merrill. Beautiful pitch from McDowell right down Broadway, and that's the velocity we've been talking about.
I love that you're talking about confidence with Mason McDowell, because that is so key for any pitcher. He's got great stuff. We know he's got velocity. The breaking ball has a bite to it. And he's pitched in some big spots for sure. And this, I would say, is a big spot. Lynchburg leads by 5, but we know this is a good Pfieffer lineup. Pfieffer really swings the bat. They score about the same runs per game as Lynchburg does. The slugging percentage is about the same. On-base percentage is about the same. So this is a capable lineup. This is a good matchup for Mason McDowell to let him build some confidence and also face some good hitters.
Merrill down in the count, 1-2. Pitch lined up the middle. Munit's not going to be able to make a play. And so a good job. You find yourself down on the count, a protective swing and a line drive up the middle. It'll be a 1-out single for Merrill, which will bring up the shortstop in Wood.
Perfectly described by you. Merrill did not try to do too much there. Stayed back, was really able to see that pitch and still get some drive on it to center field for the 3rd hit of the ball game for Pfieffer.
You know, you've been behind in his fastball a little bit, and you just got to let his velocity do the work. The first pitch to Wood is in there and off speed for strike 1. Probably won't see Merrill take off for second, but you never really know in some of these ball games.
Yeah, I mean, down 5-0, I guess the traditional by-the-book strategy would say probably shut the running game down. But, again, some teams, you know, it's 2025. They don't always subscribe to those old-school beliefs. Some coaches will say, hey, if you got a read and you can go, then take off and go.
1-1 pitch popped up. Connor Moore ranging back, and it will just hit the top of the pole of the netting. So it'll bring us to a 1-2 count. Maybe just a couple more inches inside would have kept it in play, and Connor Moore might have had a chance to catch it. But now if you're McDowell, you're up in the count 1-2. You can go to a lot of different pitches here, but you got to remember Merrill's single that he had was also on a 1-2 count.
Yeah, I think Mason McDowell, I mean, my hunch is blow him away with the fastball, but let's see what the call is here to Austin Wood.
1-2 pitch, fastball on the outside corner, just missed. It'll even up the count at 2-2.
Lynchburg defense has turned a double play already in this game, too, Ethan. That was in a key spot in the top of the 3rd inning, bases loaded spot.
And it was a great double play, too. You had Ben Jones on that back foot as Moore tries to back pick to first base. Not really close to being in time. You got a full count now on Wood, but going back to that double play, you had Ben Jones on the back foot, and it wasn't the hardest hit ground ball, so Lynchburg kind of had to force their way into that double play. But now we've got a full count with 1 out. Runner stays. Just missed that corner, and now you've got runners on first and second.
A good bite, good action on that pitch, but a good piece of hitting there from Austin Wood to just hold up and lay off. It's runners on first and second with 1 out. Honeycutt back in there, doubled in his last at-bat.
Yeah, back to the top of the order. A great job from Wood at that 9 spot. You go down 1-2 in the count, and you just fight your way into a full count. Did a great job being able to get that free 90 feet. Now you've got runners on first and second with 1 out and a possibility for a big inning for Pfieffer.
Well, yeah, if you're Pfieffer, you really have to put the foot firmly on the accelerator if you can. You got the top of your order up against a bullpen guy with runners on base. I mean, these are the opportunities that good teams, they don't take advantage of them 100% of the time, Ethan, because it's baseball. Nobody's 100%. But the good teams, they really take advantage of these spots right here. So let's see if the Falcons can get something across in this 5th inning.
Hunter Honeycutt, the leadoff hitter for this Pfieffer lineup. First pitch, swung a big swing from Honeycutt. We'll start off the at-bat 0-1. And there's that confident fastball that you get from Mason McDowell. And you see if he'll go back to it on an 0-1 count. Pitch from McDowell fired, hit to the left side, and it's going to drift foul on top of the batting cages and go down the hill towards the tennis courts.
It's sometimes we've talked about the value of multiple pitches in any count. Sometimes if you are struggling, looking for confidence, throw all that out the window and just go with your best pitch and throw that as many times as you can. See if the other team can beat you.
0-2 pitch, McDowell fires foul the way to left side. We'll do 0-2 again.
And you know, that's not to say that you want to do that all the time. You can't necessarily live by that. But also, situation in the game matters, too. It's 5-0. Go with your best pitch. See if they can hit it and be okay with the results, regardless of what happens.
Pitching with a lead instills a little bit more confidence. The 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, strike 3. And that'll be the second out of the inning on that strikeout for Honeycutt. It'll bring up the second baseman, Javier. And that's exactly what you talked about. You go to your best pitch, you got a 5-run lead, you're pitching with confidence, you're pitching with the lead, and you go back to that fastball that Honeycutt was struggling to catch up on. So great job for McDowell to get the second out of the inning.
Strikeout number 3 of the season for Mason McDowell, something he never had a problem doing the last few years. Well, I think there's signs that he can get back to that. He can get back to the top of that ladder. Great stop by Connor Moore right there. That was a fastball. And a lot of catching coaches will tell you it's the hardest thing to do to block a spiked fastball, but Connor Moore found a way to do that. He'll actually smooth out that area right there where the ball bounced and hit him in the chest protector.
Yeah, great job, like you said, from Connor Moore being able to block that, keep the runners, and that's going to break the bat as Garcia can't make the play. Logan Webster charging, 1 run, going to score.
Can you get that bat?
Yeah, we're going to get a broken bat, which you don't see too often. It's not the first time we've seen a broken bat this season, though.
I feel like we've been seeing it more and more this year. By the way, a note, Ben Jones broke a bat in the first game against Roanoke this weekend. I believe it was last week against Greensboro. You and I saw a bat break. 1 run will come in. That was an interesting play after the broken bat even, because that ball really snuck under and beside the glove of Maddox Tsutsui. I think him cutting across that kind of obscured Brandon Garcia's vision, and then Brandon Garcia, the shortstop, missed it as well. It looks like we've got ourselves another pitching change here. We are in the top of the 5th inning, and much more activity and excitement here. Lynchburg will go to a 3rd pitcher in this 5th inning.
Looks like Austin Riney, the southpaw, coming out of the pen. Austin Riney, also a two-way for the squad. He can play the outfield and he can swing it. He actually batted 1,000 last year if you go back and look, with that 1 hit against, I believe, Salisbury down in that North Carolina tournament. But Austin Riney, one of your lefties out of the pen. B sees that matchup. But going back to that broken bat, obviously you see it with wood bats all the time. And I've broken several wooden bats throughout my career. But seeing it with a metal bat, that's interesting. You caught jammed onto that ground ball to the left side. Majority of the time when you see a metal bat being broken, it's typically the handle that you stay with, and that end part of the bat kind of spirals into the infield.
Yeah, and you've got 1-piece bats and you've got 2-piece bats, and I think typically it is the 2-piece bat there where the handle is not jammed or welded on to the barrel end piece, but there is a connection there, and it becomes broken at that point. That's the weak point in the bat. Still pretty rare, but again, maybe not as rare as we think, because it does seem to be happening more and more. Austin Riney threw to 1 batter against Roanoke this weekend, got a strikeout there, 3 on the season. Riney has been in this situational lefty role one batter type of situation or if it's a team with back-to-back lefties. Riney has done that. Actually did pitch an inning and a third against North Carolina Wesley in the opening weekend, but after that, everything's primarily been to just one hitter in the lineup.
Yeah, and I think he understands that that's his role into this bullpen. You've got obviously Riney with the lefty on the mound. He's got decent velocity in his fastball, but he's really that off-speed kind of pitcher. If you want to compare him to anybody, he's really like Nick Matfield, where he's got the velocity, but you're going to rely more on the off-speed and the movement of your pitches. So we'll continue back up with Lohr at the plate. First base today, you got a runners on first and second after that broken bat. I wonder, it kind of went under Brandon Garcia's glove, and we'll go back to it. It looked like Tsutsui maybe couldn't make the play too far to his left. And to me, it honestly looked like Brandon Garcia thought that Tsutsui was going to make the play.
Yeah, I think Garcia either assumed Maddox Tsutsui would get it, or as he ran by, he lost sight of the ball as it went by Tsutsui. And the runner was also involved there as well, so that might have flashed in front of Garcia at short. 1-0 count.
Chopped right towards Riney. He's going to field it, throw to first in time. So great job from Austin Riney, and that's exactly what we were talking about before the at-bat. He's that lefty specialist, so he did a great job getting that third out of the inning. 1 run scored by Pfieffer on what could be an error or a single. It could go either way. So 4 hits for each team. Hornets still up by 4 going into the home half of the 5th inning on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Home half of the 5th inning. We are officially halfway through 9 innings. We're going to get a new pitcher on the mound for Pfieffer. It'll be number 18, Josh Jones, a sophomore from Montreal, Canada.
Love it.
Love the diversity from everywhere. We talk about it probably every single broadcast because you're always going to have a couple players that are just from out of nowhere. Typically, we get a lot of California natives, some Florida, and some up north in New York too, and that's beautiful. You love to see it. As the leadoff batter will be Joe Munitz. Some statistics for Jones. He's pitched 1 inning against Guilford. No hits on 1 hit by pitch. As that one's in there for strike 1 to even up the count. So not too much pitching from Jones, but they're throwing him into the fray with a 4-run deficit as that one's blooped into center. Nobody's going to be able to make the play, and it'll be a single for Joe Munitz.
Well, Joe Munitz will take that. You know, he's hit some balls hard at people, and that's one that'll help even out the batting average. Joe Munitz has a 6-game hit streak now. Joe Munitz on in 6 consecutive. In his last 5, he was hitting .389 with 8 driven in. Joe Munitz really fitting right in with this lineup here.
Well, we say it every game. You don't need to hit the ball 90-plus miles per hour off the bat to find some outfield grass. As that one's in the dirt, Munitz took an aggressive secondary. Couldn't get the right read to be able to take second. Did get caught stealing in that 1st inning after Brandon Garcia also got caught stealing. But now you've got Ben Jones to the plate. Benny bombs. And he's up in the count 1-0 to start things off. Joe Munitz not going anywhere. That one's high and outside for ball 2. That's the beauty of this really almost entire lineup is that everybody's prone to be able to get a good read and take second base. 2-0 pitch. Found that corner for strike one.
Good discipline there from Ben Jones because it was a true corner pitch. Yes, he could have swung at it with 2 strikes. He will swing at it, but he's still on the hunt for his pitch up in the count.
2-1 count. Pitch to Ben Jones as that one's hit deep into right center field. Right fielder going back, and it'll hit the bottom of the wall. Munit's heading to third. He's going to round third and head for the plate. The throw is going to miss the cutoff man, and it's going to be a stand-up RBI double for Ben Jones.
Well, that's Ben Jones' game in 2 pitches right there, Ski. He takes the borderline strike, takes the pitcher's pitch, and back to what we said earlier, gets more information, more knowledge, more rhythm, more looks at Josh Jones. The next one comes in his wheelhouse, and he belts it to right center field. Just missed the home run there by about 6 or 7 feet, but extra bases for Benny Bombs and RBI, and Lynchburg ups the lead back to 5.
Just a couple feet away from giving us an example of why we call him Benny Bombs. There's still a stand-up double in RBI. That'll extend the lead back to 5 runs. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Joe Gordon.
9th double of the season for Ben Jones. Double number 36 of his career. And that's power, too. I mean, that's explosive. That's not the big bomb payload. It's not the nuclear. But obviously, that takes some power to drive it to the base of the wall like that.
And right center field is the deepest part. Obviously, you've got center field, so straight away is easily the deepest part. But right center field, and that is not easy to be able to hit out. You go back to that World Series run 2 years ago. He did hit that home run against Bridgewater right below the scoreboard. I think the ball actually, I was obviously with playing outfield, that ball that he hit was actually up there for over a year. We just kind of kept it up there. And so a deep double from Ben Jones. Now you've got Joe Gordon with an even count of 1-1. Runner on second with no outs. 1-1 pitch inside, trying to get that inside off speed to catch the corner. It'll be 2-1 for Joe Gordon.
I think Josh Jones has got good stuff, but really thrust right into the fire here. He has to face the meat of the Lynchburg order. He's given up back-to-back base hits. See if Joe Gordon can keep this thing going or if Josh Jones can start to get some traction.
2-1 pitch on Joe Gordon. Lined right up the middle on the ground. Ben Jones going to round third and head for the plate, and it'll be an RBI single for Joe Gordon.
So here we go. The hits keep coming for Lynchburg. Pass the baton. Hitting is contagious. All those cliches, they're cliches for a reason. And Lynchburg's making it work right now. 3 consecutive hits. They did this in the last inning. Lynchburg, actually, if you look at it, they've got base hits in 6 of the last 7 at-bats. So this Hornets offense is sitting on go right now, and they are locked in.
Passing the torch is another one if you want to hear some more cliches like Kyle was saying. And that'll bring up Ryder Warren to the plate with no outs, runner on first. 6-run lead for the Hornets as a pitcher-catcher's meeting finishes up. As Merrill steps back behind the dish. Freshman Ryder Warren DHing today, had a single in the home half of the 4th. Also has a strikeout today, so 1 for 2. As that one catches the corner. And it'll be 0-1 on Warren.
7 hits now in the season for Ryder Warren after that last inning single. And Joe Gordon picking up his 11th base knock of the year as he leads off at first with nobody out.
Warren shows bunt, and that one comes right back towards us. Good thing that there's that netting there. That one would have easily hit the glass. Got a couple people jumping up here in the press box. And Ryder Warren will be down 0-2. No outs. He's got some speed, so I like the idea to get that bunt down. 0-2 pitch. High for ball 1. Joe Gordon, not the biggest speed threat at first, but again, you get a good read and anybody can steal a base.
Well, and I think Josh Jones right now is just trying to find a way to get some outs. I was going to say maybe he wasn't thinking about Joe Gordon, but right on cue, he'll throw to first base. And I don't know if you saw that, but Josh Jones picking while he's getting the signs. That's always a good thing for a pitcher to do. Keep the runner a little bit off balance. Pick early, pick often.
1-2 pitch on Warren. Chop to the right side, but it'll go foul towards the Pfieffer dugout. It's a good job to stay alive for Ryder Warren.
And I think controlling the running game, so important to throw over. And back to, as long as they're going to let you have unlimited throws, why wouldn't you make use of that? We see that with Lynchburg when they hold runners. You can't do that in the big leagues anymore. But at this level, you can theoretically throw over as much as you want.
Warren lines this one to the right side and just a couple feet foul. And inches away from another extra base hit, most likely for the Hornets. And we see it all the time with Lynchburg pitching. They pick over, it seems like once every 3 or 2 pitches even. You get a couple pickoffs to first base, and really it just shows the hitter that you're going up against that it's your tempo that you're going to the plate with. 1-2 pitch inside, leaving up the count at 2-2.
Yeah, and there is a school of thought that says you don't want to give the runner more information, so maybe you shouldn't pick over as much. That kind of applies to a left-hander, though. You don't really want to show him a lot of your move and let him get a read on you as a lefty. Oh,
back
Joe
pick
Gordon
towards Joe Gordon. Not in time. It's a good job being able to get back. He might have thought that would have been a dirt ball. But a good job by Merrill to keep hold of that. But it'll be a full count with no outs. Could possibly see some movement at first with a full count with no outs. 3-2 pitch on Warren, no movement. Inside for ball 4, so runners will be on first and second now for Logan Webster.
6th walk of the game for Lynchburg, so they're over their yearly average in that category. Lynchburg has also banged out 7 hits, a couple already in this inning. 3 already in the inning. Still nobody out for Logan Webster.
Logan Webster 0 for 2 with a fly out to right field and a strikeout looking. They'll try and flip the switch with no outs and 2 runners on. First pitch, good job. Finding the outside corner, good off speed from Jones.
Well, back to the information, Logan Webster now knows the shape of that breaking ball. So, good take right there from Logan Webster. And if Jones goes back to that with 2 strikes, Webster's going to have a better chance of putting that in play.
0-1 pitch on Webster. As that one gets by the catcher, runners are going to advance. So now you've got 2 runners in scoring position for your veteran, Logan Webster.
Yeah, situation for Webster now is find something to elevate. Outfield grass, double, homer, sacrifice fly. If you get back to 2 strikes, then you kind of go back to hitting for yourself and just trying to stay alive, put the ball in play. But right now, Webster will be looking for something he can reach the outfield with and fairly deep.
1-1 count. Pitch line to left field. It's going to be a base hit. They're going to send him home. So 2 runs are going to score for a single by Logan Webster, a 2 RBI single, and the runs and hits just keep on coming for the Hornets.
8 hits now in the ball game, and remember, Lynchburg was hitless through 3 complete innings. So that's 8 hits in the last 2 innings, the 4th and 5th. I think we're going to get a pitching change here. Josh Jones, his day is done. Great swing from Logan Webster. I said get something elevated, but if you can just feel out a hanging breaking ball and bang it through the hole, that works just as well. Webster, good swing right there. And again, I think you take that first pitch breaking ball, so when he throws it again later in the at-bat, you can just sit right on it, keep your nose on it, and really bang it into left field.
He was confident enough to throw it again, but a good job by Logan Webster being able to recognize it. We've got a pitching change here. We'll catch a break in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Hornets up 8 runs.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before, we were able to learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
New pitcher for the Falcons. It will be Dylan Dula, number 29, right-handed pitcher. He's thrown 13.1 innings so far this season, 18 hits on 12 earned runs, 20 runs in total, and 10 walks and 9 strikeouts. Going to do more of a complete arm in your bullpen to try and silence some of these runs. You still got no outs coming into a game down by 8 and trying to snuff out a top 3 team in the nation's offense is never going to be easy for a pitcher.
Yeah, Dula's got, this will be appearance number 9, a win and a save in there. So this is the opposite of the last pitcher, Josh Jones. For Josh Jones, just the second time he's worked this year. Dula has appeared a bunch, almost half the ball games for Pfieffer. Not almost half, but 9 out of, this is game 25. So he's in there, we'll say, a third of the time. How about that?
And there's our graduate assistant for the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network, Josh Smith, working his job on top of the dugout. 0-1 count is inside, leaving up the count for Connor Moore, the catcher for this Lynchburg squad. Doubled in his last at-bat in the bottom of the 4th. He's found his way into the Lynchburg lineup, and he's found so much success. 1-1 count for Moore. Inside, and it's going to hit him in the leg. And now we're going to have runners on first and second once again. Not the way you want to come into an inning for a relief pitcher.
Yeah, it looked like a 12-6 curveball with pretty good break on it, but couldn't land it in the strike zone, and he landed it on Connor Moore's right thigh. Hit by pitch there for Lynchburg. That'll be the 37th time this season they have been bopped. 3rd time Connor Moore has been hit. Lynchburg, an average of 1.5 hit batters per game offensively.
37 hit by pitches in just one season, I feel like, is an incredible number. And when you add the hits on top of that, like they've been doing so far this game, it's a recipe for success for this lineup. As that one's in the dirt, a good read by both runners, and we're going to have 2 runners in scoring position now on second and third.
A tough one there for Merrill. He had such a great start to the day, throwing out 2 would-be base stealers, but he's seen a few balls get behind him, and that one just beside him. Merrill might have had a play to throw out the trail runner, Connor Moore, at second. Just didn't really look in that direction.
Parker Cato, an RBI opportunity, as that one's high and outside for ball 2. Hitters count for Parker Cato.
Cato's 1 for 1. He's faced 3 different pitchers, and that can be difficult for a hitter. That can be a good challenge, especially for a young hitter like Parker Cato.
2-0 pitch finds the corner. Be 2-1 count now. With runners on second and third, you got an 8-run lead. The aggressiveness will always be there. So you imagine anything to the outfield will definitely score 1. So that'll be ball 3. And a single. Yeah, I was talking to Connor Moore after the last time we were here, Kyle, and he had some words about his speed that we talked about on his broadcast the last time. So I'll say some good things about his speed, as that one's fouled to the right side. He's a speedy guy. He's obviously your catcher. He's been catching 5 innings so far, so the legs might be feel a little bit like jelly, but when you get going, the speed can definitely catch up to you. So full count for Parker Cato with no outs. It'll be grounder up the middle. Diving play can't be made. It'll be a RBI, 2 RBI single for Parker Cato, the freshman. And now he's 2 for 2 today.
Just keep that zoomed up.
Great piece right there from Parker Cato. I mean, that's just fabulous. Work in the middle of the field. Hit it hard, and you got to see that blazing speed from Connor Moore. Did you hear that, Connor Moore, when you go back and watch that? The blazing speed coming from second base there to score. That one was relatively easy, and Lynchburg is absolutely pouring it on right now. Falcons have no answers. Maddox Tsutsui spun on a first pitch fastball for a double his last time up.
Still no outs. You got a 10-run lead as that one's in there for strike one. 7 straight batters have found themselves on the base path. 6 straight runs for the Hornets. And you still got no outs. A lot of different things that could happen. You want to keep pouring it on, especially if you're mad at Tsutsui. You're playing for a hurt Gavin Collins. You're trying to make a name for yourself as that one's called strike 2 on the inside corner.
Yeah, no doubt. You're trying to find your footing as a collegiate player, trying to impress people, trying to get yourself more playing time, work yourself in there. So if and when Gavin Collins comes back, you find yourself available to play some other positions, DH, anything right now. If you're Maddox Tsutsui, you're not really thinking about that in the batter's box. That's something you hopefully are thinking about in your preparation and practice and before games.
1-2 count on Tsutsui in the dirt. Back pick towards first base. Gets by the first baseman. Cato going to take second base. And he'll stay right there. Take a short turn at the bag. And so now you've got a runner on second. Now, I like the idea from Merrill. You try and find an out somewhere else. You're not getting any at the plate, but you want to make it a close throw, and now you've got a runner in scoring position again.
Yeah, no fault right there for Merrill, and gave the first baseman a chance to handle it. Just got to try to knock that down and keep it in front.
That one in the dirt, and we'll have a full count now on Tsutsui.
I mean, I know the throw could have been better for Merrill, but I think you nailed it. You have to take a chance to try to find an out somewhere. Have to stay aggressive as a catcher. And Parker Cato, he was lingering out there. A good throw might have had him. A perfect throw might have had him, I should say.
Full count on Maddox Tsutsui. Pitches in there, fouled off to, hit to the right side. A little chopper off the end of the bat. So they'll find their first out of the inning as Cato takes third base. Looked like you might have as well call that a little sacrifice bunt to the first baseman from Tsutsui.
Yeah, swinging bunt off the end of the bat there, maybe even actually the cap. And it had maximum spin on it. Looked like something on the pool table there with the English swerving back in play. Good job to bounce off by Dula there and get the out. Pfieffer really needed that. Still just one out, though.
Brandon Garcia steps up. Will be the 9th batter of the inning as that one catches the corner for strike 1.
You might be able to see on your screen, Dula is a guy when he comes set, he's actually got his back to the hitter slightly, very closed. And that can be deceptive. It can actually add some velocity, but can make it tougher to throw strikes too.
Ground ball to the shortstop and a pick, but not in time. Garcia runs it out. That'll be an infield single, and that'll extend his hitting streak. And it'll also be an RBI for Garcia.
10 hits in the game now for Lynchburg. Another run scores. They lead 12-1. And then you mentioned the hitting streak for Brandon Garcia. Still intact. Everything going Lynchburg's way right now. 10 consecutive with a base hit for Brandon Garcia. Joe Munitz led off this inning with a single, so Lynchburg has batted around.
Garcia leads off at first base. Pitch in right down Broadway for strike 1. You see with that 11-run lead for the Hornets, umpire might be willing to expand the zone just a little bit. You can have situations like that with the umpiring crew. A 1 count on Munitz outside for ball 1.
Yeah, certainly something to be aware of, and if you're Lynchburg offensively, keep that in the back of your mind. And if you get a call that, on a ball that's a little off the plate, little up, little down, make sure you don't, outwardly show any displeasure to the umpire or anything like that.
1-1 count, high off speed for ball 2.
You see that breaking ball's got some major depth, though. I mean, that started at Joe Munitz's chin and ended up really at the catcher's chin, but just came around the zone too high.
Really looks like a 12-6 curveball as that one is outside. So 3 balls and 1 strike on the count. Runner on first is Brandon Garcia. Hornets up by 11. 3-1 count. Outside, and it'll be another walk for Joe Munitz, his second of the game. As a pitching change looks like it might be in order, and they will go to the righty. And we'll try and put a name to the pitching in the bullpen. So 7 runs so far in this bottom half of the inning. Ben Jones will come up after this change. Runners on first and second. Be Joe Munitz on first, Brandon Garcia on second. And trying to put a number and a name together. This will be the third pitcher of the inning for Pfieffer. Number 6, it'll be Levi Barrett, freshman from Blacksburg, South Carolina.
And Levi Barrett started the game as the designated hitter. So the baseball term is they're going to kill the DH. DH is now in the game as a pitcher. We need to come up with a better term than that, but that is the accepted terminology. The head coach will go to the umpire and say, we're going to kill the DH, and he'll be pitching now, and I would assume Levi Barrett's going to stay in that position in the batting order. We could also be discussing Lynchburg's pitching a little bit. We saw Austin Riney come in and get the final out of the top of the 5th. That's been so long ago, you might think about making a change if you're Lynchburg, and Riney may have only been in there for that one batter anyway. He's been in that sort of left-handed only one guy role. They used to call those the loogies, L-O-O-G-Y. Left only one guy. That's what it stood for. So that might have been the deal there for Riney, as we do see some action in the Lynchburg bullpen. But excited to find out who the Hornets will finally use when this inning comes to an end. It has been a very lengthy 5th inning.
Some numbers on Levi Barrett. This is his 6th appearance on the mound. He's has 8 innings coming into today's contest with 13 hits, 12 earned runs, 9 walks, and 9 strikeouts.
Brady Moore has mentioned an alternate term maybe that could be used. Collapse the DH. That could possibly be a new one. Collapse the DH. Well, I think, it's fine to move away from certain terms. You think about sudden death. That's a term that I think some sports are trying to get away from because nobody's dying. It's actually sudden victory is what it is.
Yeah,
typically,
I like that.
Which is actually a bit more descriptive. It just means the next run, the next goal, the next point, whatever, will cause the game to end. So really, in that situation, sudden victory is actually a more descriptive term as this ball gets away from Merrill. Early signs are that Levi Barrett's got some zip on his fastball. Let's see if he can command it a little bit with Ben Jones, who did have that RBI double in this inning.
Runners on second and third now as that one's high for ball 2. If you're Ben Jones coming into an at-bat against a brand new hitter, he's thrown 2 straight balls that weren't too close to the zone. You're really going to force this pitcher to come to you. 2-0 pitch. And that one looks like it's right down Broadway for strike 1. And now I think Ben Jones will be in green light mode.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I think it's all gas, no brakes right here. Still a steering wheel, but no brakes right here for Ben Jones.
Ben Jones hit a double earlier this inning, was just a couple feet from leaving the yard, caught the bottom of the fence, scored 1 run. And Ben Jones later scored also, part of that 7 straight runs that Lynchburg had, as that one's grounded to the first baseman, steps on first for out number 2, run will score. So an RBI ground out for Ben Jones will score Brandon Garcia. Joe Munitz will move to third, and that'll bring up Joe Gordon to the plate.
Yeah, productive there from Ben Jones, and that was smart. He was trying to hit something solid. It was a 2-strike. I wouldn't say 2-strike approach truly for Ben Jones, but you could tell he wasn't trying to leave the yard with that swing. He was trying to hit it hard and was in a good spot there that could score Brandon Garcia.
A good team AB from Benton Jones. Joe Gordon leaves that one outside for ball 1. Joe Gordon hit a single earlier this inning and later scored. That one flown into right center field, and it'll be caught by Honeycutt in right field, and that'll be out number 3. So the inning finally ends. 8 runs scored for the Hornets. They take a 12-run lead in total. 10 hits, 1 error for the Hornets, 1 run, 4 hits for Pfieffer. And we're going to see Ronnie stay out on the mound. We'll take a quick breather as he gets set up after a long break in between innings on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover."
Welcome back, baseball lovers, for Lynchburg in the bottom of the 5th inning. 8 runs on 6 hits. They end up leaving 1 on. First pitch hack here from Levi Barrett, who was the DH. He's now the pitcher. Sprays that one into right field, and he's aboard. It is still Austin Riney pitching for Lynchburg. Great look there with the graphic of the Pfieffer lineup, which was intact until this man stepped in there. We just get a pinch hitter. Right as we do all the hard work showing the graphic there with the lineup, it will be a pinch hitter. Number 44, Hayden Furr, is in for Pfieffer. He is a .313 hitter on the season. This will be game number 15 that Hayden Furr has appeared in. First pitch is a strike from Austin Riney. 5 hits as a team for Pfieffer. First one Riney has given up. I'll tell you what, Ski, for Lynchburg, it's 13 runs. Is it 12 runs? How many runs is it?
I think 13 is the right number.
Is 13 right? Yeah, they scored 1 in the third, 4 in the 4th, and 8 in that 5th inning. I'm thinking about, that run in the 3rd inning, there were no hits. So Lynchburg, all the hits, 10 totals now for Lynchburg have come in those 2 innings. 4th and 5th innings where Lynchburg's bats really got hot, and they did it off a variety of pitchers. For Lynchburg, they have used 3 arms. A great start from Lucas Marrero. We were impressed. Mason McDowell faced 4 batters, and Austin Riney now pitching to his 3rd hitter. 2-2 count on the new man, Hayden Furr. He's in the spot that Baden Gusa, the 3rd baseman, started. Gusa will end his day 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And it is a 13-1 ball game. Pfieffer got their lone run in the top of the 5th inning. Full count pitch coming from the junior lefty, Austin Riney. Uh-oh. That one got roped into the Lynchburg dugout, sent players scattering. There is the protective netting in front of the dugout, but that only comes up about 4 feet high. So that one was scary. It was, I think, Quinn Madden that notably went scampering out of the way. Don't see the athletic trainer going in the dugout, so we'll assume everybody's okay. An extra payoff pitch from Riney is low and away, and it's ball 4. Another pinch hitter coming up for Pfieffer. This will be number 10, James Eason, stepping in. Game 11 that he's played in. He's 0 for 10 so far this season. So Eason looking for a jump start in a 12-run deficit. There's nobody out in the top of the 6th inning. Falcons come into the ball game at 8-16. Lost to Lynchburg earlier this season. In fact, it's 9 straight losses to the Hornets. And here comes, I believe, Travis Beasley out of the Lynchburg dugout. He's the head coach. That means we've got another pitching change. We'll get to see our 4th Lynchburg arm when we come back. Hornets on top, 13-1 in the 6th inning here at Fox Field.
When you come to the University of Lynchburg to earn a master's degree in athletic training, you'll spend time in the classroom, but you'll also spend a lot of time in our top-notch facilities, learning from athletic trainers and working closely with our student athletes. In the Graduate Cadaver Lab, you'll learn about the human body in the best way possible, by actually studying the human body. This will provide a foundation to make you a much better athletic trainer. In the athletic training laboratory, you'll get hands-on experience, practicing your skills, applying concepts from the classroom, and working with faculty on research projects. It's also where our hydrotherapy facilities are. This space is also used by students for studying and practicing.
Right-handed freshman into the ball game for Lynchburg. It's Michael Rollins. He is the brother of Dominic Rollins, another guy who played his high school baseball just down Route 221 at Jefferson Forest High School. Same color scheme for the Cavaliers as the Lynchburg Hornets. He'll enter with a 13-1 advantage. His ball club up by 12. This will be appearance number 2 on the season for Michael. He's pitched 2/3 of an inning, struck out 1, walked 2, gave up 1 earned run on 1 hit in there as well. 2 runners on for Pfieffer. Falcons will look to get themselves back in the ball game, or at least get something positive going. Pfieffer this weekend will head to Greensboro to take on the Pride. That's a squad that, of course, Lynchburg split with earlier this year. A loss on the road at Greensboro for Lynchburg, so that'll be a good opponent for Pfieffer. That's something you're telling your guys right now as a coach if you're Craig Bolton in his 4th season. Hey, we don't throw at bats away, regardless of the score. Let's make sure we continue to work and get after it and try to get some guys hot and ready for the weekend series against Greensboro.
If you're Michael Rowlands, this is a perfect opportunity for your 2nd appearance. You're pitching with a 12-run lead at the moment, runners on 1st and 2nd. If you can show that you're good enough to get out of an inning with some damage control, it'll be a perfect saying to Coach Beasley that there's a reason why you recruited me, and I'm going to show you exactly why this inning.
Michael Rollins, also an infielder, played a lot of the left side, shortstop, 3rd base for Lynchburg. Got some life on the fastball, comes at you with the low 3/4 delivery. There's a check swing on a high heater to Jason Eason. And it's an 0-1 count. Pardon me, it's a 1-1 count. Riney did throw 1 pitch in there. Is that right? Are we getting that right? Eason mentioned he's still looking for his first hit on the season. 0 for 10 so far. Probably not a sacrifice bunt situation because of the score line, despite there being runners on 1st and 2nd with nobody out. Maddox Tsutsui kind of in that 45-degree angle at 3rd base. You'll see some guys at the hot corner do that, Ethan. Now Tsutsui's going to play back in a traditional configuration there at 3rd.
Yeah, I think the way that they're playing it is that, say, if he does put the bunt down, you're just going to take you out. You're not really worried about the runners on 1st and 2nd at the moment.
Yeah, it's just your standard bunt defense at that point. Same thing if somebody dropped down a base hit bunt at any given time. So Lynchburg will be ready. Did turn a key double play in the 3rd inning when the ball game was close. It was still scoreless at that time, and Pfieffer had the bases loaded before Lynchburg rolled up a 4-6-3 twin killing. There's another one. You don't even want to say twin killing anymore, but a twin collapsing maybe. We said we're going to collapse the DH as Eason fouls 1 straight back. And it looks like our count is full with nobody out. C.J. Acosta on deck, but we've seen back-to-back pinch hitters for Pfieffer. So it looks like Craig Bolton is content to try some different options on his roster. Lynchburg did make a change defensively, by the way. Eric Hyatt is at first base for the Hornets. Entered into that spot that Joe Gordon occupied. Joe Gordon will finish the day 1 for 4. Did have an RBI single in that 8-run 5th inning. 6 hits in the inning for Lynchburg. 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch. Ben Jones had a ground out RBI in there as well. Another full count delivery coming up. They got him swinging. Hard high heater that time, and that's the first out of the inning.
Great fastball from Michael Rowlands. He's got the velocity alongside a ton of runs, so you're pretty much throwing an upper 80s two-seam towards these hitters. Changes up the eye level just a little bit and where you're trying to put the barrel, so great job from Rowlands knowing your pitching and your confidence.
It is a pinch hitter for Pfieffer. It's a check swing. I believe he went around. Yes, that's the call from the home plate umpire. Christian Bellatoni is also looking for his first hit of the season. 0 for 12 coming into this one. Love that you mentioned something about the movement there for Rowlands on the pitching side. I mean, the velocity is noticeable, but the movement is too. Sometimes movement from a pitcher is subtle. As Connor Moore is going to throw to Eric Hyatt. Hyatt made a little running grab there and tried to make a between the legs tag, but the runner back in time. Sometimes movement, as I was saying, is subtle, but you can see it from back here. It's really got some run and some ride to it. 0-2 count. Rollins is looking at an away target from Connor Moore. Here's the pitch. Got him upstairs again. High heater. Back-to-back punch-outs. Lynchburg's got 2 away in the top of the 6th.
Rowlands doing a great job on the mound. You come in with runners on first and second. It's never easy with no outs. He's gone back-to-back strikeouts, and he's going to try and make it a pair of trips.
Runners on first and second. Outfield shuffling the configuration around slightly. Going to go straight away again here to left-handed hitter. Another new batter. Carter Merrill was in this spot, the catcher. Let's see. Was it 20 or 26?
Yeah, I think it might be 20. Jack Brandel at the plate, possibly.
Thank you for that. Jack Brandel. Also no hits on the season. 0-1 right now. You got to like what Pfeiffer's doing, giving some guys chances, though. We already talked about for Lynchburg, it's a chance to prove something to coaches and teammates, to yourself. Same for Pfeiffer. Despite being down by 12, still looking for opportunities. Looking for future opportunities based on something you could do here. Rollins low on that pitch, and now it's a 2-0 count. With runners on first and second, 2 down. In the top of the 6th inning, Lynchburg leads 13-1. Rollins checks the pitch communication device on the gloved left wrist. Now looks at the runner, kicks and fires. Got that one where he wanted it. High pop-up, long run in the triangle. Joe Munitz will call, take over, and make the catch to end the top of the 6th inning. Good appearance there for Michael Rowlands. Pfeiffer got 2 on, base hit and a walk, but back-to-back punch-outs and then a pop-up to end the 6th. Lynchburg on top by a bunch, 13-1 Hornets.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is green restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
It's the bottom of the 6th inning here at Fox Field. Kyle Haney and Ethan Morotsky spending some time with you on a Tuesday afternoon. And we've had a multitude, a bevy, a plethora of defensive changes. And it's April Fool's Day. So really we could have just, when we came back, played the who's on first bit. What's on second? I don't know. Is it third base? All that stuff. Because Pfieffer has really changed the entire defensive construction. And expect to see some potential changes for Lynchburg. We've already had a few pitching. And then, of course, Eric Hyatt went in to play first base. This is Ryder Warren. He's still hitting in the spot he started the game in. Pop-up will float down the left field line and be caught by somebody at third base for Pfieffer. We'll try to figure them all out. We do know Pfeiffer's new pitcher is the guy that started at second base. That is Joe Javier.
I believe at third base we have Eason.
Okay.
Who subbed in at third.
Yeah. Jason Eason, remember that, which is really tough for us because, you know, we've got Jason Easton on the Lynchburg basketball team. This is Jason Eason, E-A-S-O-N. Keep going, though, because it sounds like you got a better handle on it than I do.
I will say we have Josh Tuner behind the plate. I hope I'm saying that last name correctly. Barrett at second base, I believe.
Yeah, DH, former DH, Levi Barrett, former pitcher.
Yeah, I think that's all I've got so far. I know there's more out there.
Still very good. 2-0 count to Logan Webster, who's still hitting in the spot that he started the ball game in. It's a 3-0 count to the senior Logan Webster, senior from Chesapeake, 342 on the season. Webster is 1 for 3 in this ball game. He drove in 2 with a single in that big 5th inning. This is the bottom of the 6th. Lynchburg will try to add on to their total. And then we'll have to find out and ask the question, are we playing the 10-run rule today? Sometimes in the non-conference games, it's up to the coaches, and they meet before the game and talk about that in the ground rules. But we'll find out. You do have to get through 6.5. Home team would not have to bat in the 7th inning if they had the lead by more than 10.
I believe they've started doing that in conference games, too, which was actually something that they didn't do last year. Or in conference, you couldn't have that mercy rule, but now they're doing it this year.
Yeah, and a good call by you. I think I understand the reason for doing it, and I understand the reason for not doing it. Typically, you don't have a 10-run rule in the playoffs. Logan Webster hit this one hard, but got under it. It's high, and the shortstop sighting it at the edge of the infield dirt. He'll haul it in for the second out of the inning. Back-to-back pop-outs, actually, for the Lynchburg offense. There's 2 down with Connor Moore stepping in. He's 1 for 2 with an RBI double, hit by pitch. Struck out on a breaking ball that was low in his first plate appearance way back in the 2nd inning. I mean, what's your take? Put your coach's hat on. Put your coach's hat on and tell me, do you want a 10-run mercy rule or do you not?
I'm kind of with you. I think there's positives and negatives about it. Obviously, for conferences, Connor Moore hits that one to second and throws it to first in time. That'll be the 3rd out of the inning. I think there's pros and cons of it. I think one of the pros is that with fields like this where there's no lights around, if the sun starts heading down, you can't really find the ball out of the pitcher's hand or in the sky. I think that is a pro where you can end the game if there's a mercy rule. But there's also those times where you're not going to, if you end the game in the 7th inning, you're not going to have those spectacular 8-run 9 innings that can help you come back and win a ball game.
Yeah, it's interesting because you mentioned the lights. I think that's a primary factor for doing it in the conference games. You get those double headers. I mean, it would be a shame to have a first game take so long because you're up by more than 10 runs that you don't get to play a complete second game. So that's a thought there. And then you can get into the travel aspects and things like that. I mean, did you see the Division I thing this weekend with Kentucky and Texas A&M?
I did see that. Was that with the timer?
They can't start an inning after 4:30 on a Sunday because the idea is that you got to travel back home. And, of course, Division I baseball, these conferences are so huge now, you might have to get on a flight. It might be a deal where you can't miss a flight. I don't know if Texas A&M, Kentucky flew to the games or not, but I think that's the idea for that rule. And then, of course, there was some extra little shenanigans involved because Kentucky was playing the stall ball there. They were trying to make the game take a long time, so they did not have to start another inning. So, it's fascinating, things that happen that you don't really think about, but they do happen. There was the weird one with Liberty University over the weekend where they started a pitcher who wasn't on the traveling roster, wasn't on the series roster, and they ended up having to forfeit the game because they basically essentially used an illegal player. He's a legal player. He's on the roster, but you have to submit that before the series in Conference USA. So, each conference has some little nuances and rules that can jump up and bite you if you're not ready.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of different things this entire year. Obviously, with the rule with the Kentucky and Texas A&M the rule for all of the NCAA, I believe if it's over 500 miles. Okay. You have to, I believe you have to fly to that game, and then with
what is that that's a playoff thing? I think you're thinking about though.
It could be. I mean, I'm not sure. We'll have to do some research and
Google's free.
Yeah.
Still, for a bit, we're in the 7th inning as we just wanted more extra time to banter there. 13-1 ball game. First pitch swung on, grounded to Brandon Garcia. He'll straighten up, fire across to Eric Hyatt for the first out of the inning. And, we're going to find out here in 2 outs whether we're playing a 10-run rule or not, as Lynchburg is on top 13-1. I say that unless Pfieffer scores some runs and trims the deficit to less than 10, then we'll play on and find out.
Going back to the ineligible player, do you think that's a tip of the – well, obviously you're not going to tip your cap to that because you want to play the whole game, but do you think that's just good coaching by the other squad recognizing that?
Well, that was the debate is it good coaching or is it poor sportsmanship? Some people were saying Jacksonville State was the other team in question there with Liberty. They should have brought it up before the game. And, I don't know. This ball's hit well to right field, so hold that thought. Parker Cato on the move and in the air to make the grab for out number 2. That had some mustard off the bat of Hunter Honeycutt with the catches made. I guess it depends on the way you think about the game. I mean, he wasn't on the roster. He wasn't on the roster, and I don't know. I don't know. It is tricky. I don't have a good answer. That's how you know it's a good question right there, because it's not so easy to answer with Joe Javier hitting.
Well, we had a similar situation like that. As that one's laced up the middle for a base hit for Javier. We had a similar situation like that down at the softball field a couple weeks ago against Virginia Wesleyan, where obviously the rules are a little bit different there, where you can pinch run somebody and then you can put that player that you pinch ran for back into the field. And we had a situation like that where we had one of our players get pinch run for, went back out in the field, but they didn't establish her back, and so the batter originally flew out, but then they brought it back because the coach realized that they didn't re-enter, so the count restarted and she eventually got on. But there are situations like that, believe it or not, they happen all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it really do. As this ball got away from Connor Moore and then got out of play. So, Joe Javier, by the way, let's bring it back to this game. But I'm enjoying, side questing a little bit here and having some different conversations. Joe Javier's got a 3-hit day, by the way, and he's walked once, so he has not been retired. Joe Javier, tip your cap to him, and he came into the game, hitting .390. Check the numbers for Joe Javier. He might be over 400 now. This one's flown into right center field. The catch is made there. End of the 7th inning for Pfieffer, and I think that's going to be the end of the ball game. Let's see if we're doing the run rule or not. Yes, it looks like the teams are getting ready to go through the handshake line. That's a ball game right there and a win for Lynchburg. Maybe a little bit anticlimactic on the call, but we got it in there. Hornets go to 21-4 on the season. They beat Pfieffer 13-1. It was a 10-hit day for Lynchburg, and they did not get a hit until the 4th inning. But that's when the offense came alive. Lynchburg did score 1 in the 3rd, 4 in the 4th, 8 in the 5th inning, and that was the separation that they needed. Pfieffer scored their lone run in the 5th inning. Tip your cap to Joe Javier for the Falcons, 3 for 3 with a walk. And Ski, you give me some additional observations and opinions, and I'm going to total up Joe Javier's average and see if my guy's hitting 400 on the year right now or not, and then we'll look at some individual numbers for Lynchburg before we get out of town.
Well, I think what was groundbreaking for this Lynchburg squad was that 5th inning. They scored, I believe, 8 runs in 9 batters with multiple hits and multiple walks, and we talk about it every single game. The reason why this Lynchburg lineup is so scary is that not only do they get hits, but if you let them get leadoff walks or multiple walks per inning, they're going to take advantage of it 9 times out of 10, and that's why they've won so many ball games this year.
Well, I did the math here. Joe Javier on the season for Pfieffer, 42 for 103. That's a grand total of 408 on the batting average. So, yes, not only is he over 400, he's well over 400 at 408. Tip your cap to Joe Javier. Let's see here for Lynchburg. Brandon Garcia extended the hit streak now. It's 10 consecutive games for Hollywood that he's had a base hit. Ben Jones and Joe Munitz, they got hits and, of course, extended their on-base streaks. Ben Jones a double and 2 walks. Typical Benny Bomb stuff. Scan a little further down in the lineup. How about Parker Cato? 2 singles, 3 RBI. He also walked. Parker Cato scored 3 runs. He was very important. Made a nice defensive play there in the top of the 7th inning as well. Logan Webster had a hit. Connor Moore had a hit. Maddox Tsutsui had a hit. And now that I say that, Ethan, everybody in the starting lineup for Lynchburg had at least 1 base hit. That is massive right there for the Hornets. Get those bats cranking up. Get guys heated up at the right time. We're into April now. Really exciting there for Lynchburg's offense. And some excitement on the pitching side as well. First appearance of the year for Lucas Marrero. He impressed as the starter for Lynchburg.
Yeah, everybody on this Lynchburg squad did a great job, and I like how you highlighted Lucas Marrero, his first appearance, his first collegiate appearance, and I think he did stellar. He looked so confident on the mound. The off-speed was working. The fastball had some run, and he was confident for probably, I think he was confident every single pitch of his entire outing.
Yeah, expect to see more from him, and now it's a situation where maybe he becomes a weekend bullpen guy, potentially. I mean, he looked that good. I think Lynchburg's going to feel really excited about this win here today. And Brady Moore has pointed out to me that this is 5 run rule victories, 5 mercy victories this season for Lynchburg. They're rolling. They're the number 2 team in the country, 21-4 right now for Lynchburg. They go to 11-0 at home, undefeated at Foxy this season. And real quick, Ski, before we go, it's a big one. Lynchburg's got to turn around and hit the road tomorrow, take on Virginia Wesleyan. That's a team that's at the bottom of the ODAC standings, but as you and I know, you cannot overlook anybody in college baseball. You cannot overlook anybody in the ODAC conference.
Yeah, any team can creep up on you any given day, and that's the beauty of baseball, especially with Virginia Wesleyan. They like to play Lynchburg really well. They play up to competition, and like you said in the ODAC, there are never any easy games. And Virginia Wesleyan, no matter where they're at in the standings, they're always going to be able to compete with the best of the best.
Pfieffer drops to 8-17. They'll take on Greensboro in a USA South series this weekend. Lynchburg 21-4, still undefeated at home. Our next home broadcast on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network will be this Saturday. Doubleheader conference action with the Ferrum Panthers. Ski, it sounds like we're going to get a little 3-man weave going on with Evan Gates in the mix. We might even have a little Joe Brennan. We might have a dugout reporter. And who knows what we're going to be doing graphic-wise and replay-wise and camera-wise. We're just going to blow it out this weekend. So we invite fans to, if they can't make it to the ball game, join us on LHSN.
It's going to be a ton of fun, Kyle. I'm very excited. First time we've had a 3-person broadcast, I believe.
And it might be the last, too, if we screw it up. No, I'm kidding. Big thank you to the LHSN crew today. Fabulous as always, and thank you for watching. A big win for Lynchburg. They beat Pfieffer 13-1. You saw it all live on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.